Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from Sherwood Forest in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, Hour 1 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. I am your lovable, huggable, mid-morning chat host, Eric Von Haessler, surrounded by the lovely Doctrinaires, man of 1,000 voices, Tim Andrews, woman of quite a few voices in her own right, Autumn Fisher, and, of course, the young, handsome, shallow Jared Yamamoto.
Very shallow indeed.
Yeah, not as shallow as you used to be. That's 5 years of being near me. I like that. What's that? It's a movie. What's it called? Educating something with Michael Caine. Is it Educating Rita?
Educating Rita.
Rita.
Yeah, that was a good
Educating
movie.
Jared. That's been my my 5-year mission here, and I think I've done a pretty good job adding a little substance to a once completely hollow human being. But I met him. Let me tell you, there was nothing there. Who was your favorite comedian?
Oh, it was Gabriel Iglesias.
Enough said. Not Richard Pryor. What's his name again?
Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah,
Fluffy.
Yeah, big chubby guy.
Yeah,
funny
he's funny.
dude.
He's funny.
What's his big bet?
He does all the voices.
Oh, yeah, I don't
All
respect
of them.
that. I don't respect. He does all the voices.
Yeah, he does all of the
Every
voices.
voice you hear.
Every
Yeah.
voice you can think of.
As you guys can tell, I
Great
don't
impersonator.
like impersonators. I'm sorry. I know some people like it. It's just
Lowest form of entertainment.
never been my cup of
Yeah.
tea.
I don't like impersonators.
Ooh, somebody's upset.
No, that's Autumn impersonating you, impersonating me. That's exactly what that was. So, we got a big show. I'm feeling good inside. Jared, are you feeling good inside?
I'm feeling great. I got an action-packed day tonight.
I know. Yeah.
What?
Today and
Wait a minute,
tonight.
no, you got
Day tonight?
Yeah.
Today and tonight.
That's how special tonight is for Jared. Is it becomes daytime?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can follow that.
Tonight's my day.
Yeah. Let's just say it's action-packed and leave it at that so that people can understand what the hell we're talking about here. I will tell you, I'm in a really good mood, except there's one thing that I've realized in the last few days. Actually started over the weekend because I don't fly a lot, and I flew to Western New York and back, and so that's only an hour and a half, that flight. Not very long. And when I'm realizing, but my butt hurt when I got off that thing. And I thought that must have been a bad seat. Like with all these airplane seats, like you can get a bad one where the cushioning isn't there, the filling, it doesn't have a good fill. And that's what I
Like if the
thought.
plane went down in some water, it would not keep you afloat.
No, it would not keep me afloat. So then when I flew back, same thing. What are the odds? Then I was doing a lot of work on the Christmas special that's coming up, by the way. It's going to play for the first time on Thanksgiving Day in our time slot. You got to look out for that. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. So I'm sitting at my desk. I had a pretty nice chair. My cheeks are hurting again. And now I realize what it is. I've lost all this weight. That's good. I've lost my butt cushions. Along with the weight, I've lost my butt cushioning. And now, yes, maybe I'll live a day or two longer. But I'm never going to be able to enjoy sitting down again.
Yes, you can. Do some squats.
Do some squats?
Yeah, start toning that.
I got to tone that up.
You do.
I don't have much of a butt anyway.
Not in a dirty way.
Are you two? I feel like you two are hitting on me, and I would like to register a formal complaint with HR.
No, Eric, I'm just saying I could get a better idea of what you're talking about if you just
You're trying to help.
took your pants down a little bit.
I don't know. I feel like I'm being sexually harassed. Yes, Jared.
Why don't you become one of those guys that carries around that donut pillow, that you sit on?
Yeah.
You can just carry that around with you.
Because that's not good for you.
How is? Oh, well, wow. Somebody's looked into it. Wait, we have butt specialists.
It puts pressure on your
Well, the gravity
Yes,
would then,
and that
as you
if-
relieve pressure on the sides, the
Yes.
gravity would hit the innards.
so you could possibly get hemorrhoids.
Yeah, well, that possibility, that's a bridge. That's a bridge this man crossed quite a while ago. So, but I don't want to aggravate the situation.
Yeah, no exacerbation.
And some people are actually, maybe eating breakfast now. So let's do this.
Headlines for Wednesday, November 20th.
I don't listen listen to WSB to be grossed out during my cornflakes. That's just an added benefit that I get. All right, what do we have?
ABC.
What's going on? Is there a debate in town tonight? I bet you that's a big story.
Well, ABC.
Woo, Georgia's on the map.
ABC News says the Democrats are anticipating an exciting Democrat debate tonight at Tyler Perry's brand new studios.
I heard that. Is it true that Medea is going to be the moderator?
Oh, Lord, what are y'all going to be doing about the roads?
I will tell you this. I love the state of Georgia. I love Atlanta. I love the whole metro Atlanta area. There's a couple of the Thomases I'm not so fond of in the state. You know, you got Thomaston, Thomasville, A couple of those Thomases may not be my favorite parts of the state, but I love the state of Georgia by and large. And I love metro Atlanta. And up to now, I have not watched one single solitary moment of the Democrat debates. And you would say, wow, you must be so proud, Eric, that they're coming here. They're doing it right here in your town, in your city. You'll be watching, right? And no, because the TV show's the same. The TV show's the same. And I'll do the same thing that I've been doing quite well as I wake up tomorrow, see what the other idiots are covering, see what I think of, whatever the moments that came out of the debate. But I will tell you right now, this morning, I will give you a taste. Now, I've told people, this is the truth. I don't watch 24-hour news during the day anymore. No CNN, no MSNBC, no Fox News. The exceptions to the rule are when I wake up in the morning for that little half hour when I'm getting up, I watch Fox Business. I don't know if the N is for news or network, but what FBN, and I get a little sample of what people are talking about.
You don't watch Cheddar?
I don't watch Cheddar.
Oh, okay.
I don't watch Yahoo News. I don't watch Sargento News. None of the cheese news networks.
Sabra.
Parmesan News.
CNN, Cheese News Network. I don't watch any of these. But so this is exactly, now either when I play this, you'll either get it, man, it'll resonate with you the way that I see the world, or it won't. But this is exactly what's wrong with all of the coverage. So this is a tease going into a commercial this morning, a tease about the debate in Georgia tonight. And to me, this is every reason why I'm not watching news.
Plus, Democratic presidential hopefuls are taking the stage tonight for another debate. Which candidate do you think will be attacked the most?
Not about policy. This is the problem with the way that elections are covered everywhere now. The horse race is always a legitimate part of the coverage of campaigns. But in this clickbait society, what we've realized now at all news networks is the horse race is the most, if you will, clickable element. So in the last few I'd say starting in the early 2000s, the coverage is just all horse race all the time. Who's here? Who's up? Who's down? Hey, at least on Sunday, after all that analysis, the NFL teams actually play each other, and it's resolved by that night.
Yes.
This is just endless speculation. Who's up? Who's down? Who's what? Yes, that is always a legitimate portion of campaign coverage. But now it's all of it. As if we don't listen. Okay, think about this. One of these people wants to be the next president, and very soon the current president will be in a debate format with whoever that nominee is. Before I play this, keep this in your mind. Nuclear weapons are being proliferated all over the world and getting in the hands of rogue elements who would sell them to rogue states without blinking an eye. What are we worried about?
Plus, Democratic presidential hopefuls are taking the stage tonight for another debate. Which candidate do you think will be attacked the most?
Oh, hey, one more time. Let's listen to that one more time. But this time, let's think about the fact that this country is 22 trillion, not billion. Remember, 1 trillion is 1,000 billion. We're $22,000 billion, or $22 trillion in debt. And an awful lot of these people on the stage tonight want to just add to that, willy-nilly, the current president, no matter what you think of him, has added to that willy-nilly. $22 trillion in debt, and we got to have people are going to try to become the next president. Let's look forward to...
Plus, Democratic presidential hopefuls are taking the stage tonight for another debate. Which candidate do you think will be attacked the most?
Oh, certainly. These are the most important things. Also, let me tell you what's going to happen tonight. Genuflecting to Stacey Abrams. You know what? Rather than taking up the first 15 minutes of the debate so that each one of these candidates can just grovel with a capital G at the feet of Stacey Abrams, I've got a better idea. You know when Clemson starts their games and they all run down that slope?
Yeah.
And they isn't there like there's a rock or something that they all tap it, they all touch it, whatever. Just have Stacey Abrams out there and let every candidate hug her and shake her hand as they go, so that we can get that out of the way. That's number one. I'm not watching the debates, but I'm telling you that I know exactly what will happen. We'll test this tomorrow. I say tomorrow we'll have more than two candidates so we can play who groveled at the feet of Stacey Abrams the most. And the interesting thing is, I would estimate that, let's put it at 82.5 to 85% of all people in the United States of America have absolutely no idea who Stacey Abrams is. This is playing, everybody is playing to such a narrow group, whether they're on the left or whether they're on the right. I just heard a story, this may seem tangential to you, but it's not to me, just being reported that the Grammy nominations are in. Oh, whoop-de-doo. But now, this time, the solo artists, only female artist were, because no men did anything worth,
No, they didn't.
No, only female. Because you know what? We've got to even out history. A ridiculous notion that you can even out history. We got to even out history now. So we'll give a Grammy or two to people who aren't so great, just because some really good people we bypassed, as if that does anything. But meanwhile, nobody seems to notice. So the Grammys are going to get woker. We can't say they're going to get woke. Grammys been woke for a while. Now they're going to get woker. All we hear from the Grammys is TV ratings down every year, worse. So they're playing to, but everybody I know as a musician thinks it's time for women to, but then this is the most important thing. To you, again, let's go to the 85%. I don't care. They believe in equality. Everybody should be free. Whatever. I don't. How many people out there think we have to even out history? Almost none. So as a TV show, not compelling. I saw this yesterday. The most woke league in sports, the NBA. I'm enjoying watching NBA. I enjoy the game. Did you know the television ratings have dropped 27% in the last 2 to 3 seasons for the NBA? Coincides right with, we're part of #resistance. We hate the president. We're not going to go to the White House. The whole thing, the whole wokeness. And sooner or later, somebody's going to realize you got that job to put shows on TV that people watch. Advertisers pay money based on how many people are watching. You got a bunch of people playing to this small crowd and leaving out everybody. Think about the NBA. Basketball has always been preeminent in the Midwest of this country. Who's popular in the Midwest of this country? President of the United States. NBA decides we're anti-Trump, and we'll let you know. All of this evidence, and that is my way to say that what you're going to see tonight, this fawning, this groveling at the feet of Stacey Abrams, is in the same kind of picture, playing to a very small crowd. Because again, I contend, what did I say, 82.5 to 85%?
That is what you said.
I'm laying it in there. Of most of the people in the United States of America, those are the people who will decide who the next president is, have no idea who Stacey Abrams is. But they play to the smaller thing, and the NBA plays to a smaller thing, and the Grammys, because everyone I know, it's very important that we're all woke. Except you're leaving out 85% of the country. Do you know what's involved in the 85% of the country? 85% of the country is not white. It's everybody. They're leaving everybody behind. There's almost no coverage of the fact that Colin Kaepernick lost everybody last weekend. He's stuck with just like the blogs like Root Nation or something. The NFL plantation has, that kind of nonsense. Let's just drop the story. Let's not continue on with the fact that nearly every black sports broadcaster and or journalist that I've checked in with as far as reading their stuff or watching their stuff have written off Colin Kaepernick after his hijinks last week. You realize that, so all the people who are in favor of I'm with Cap, they don't watch football. They don't watch football. They're not natural football fans. You know the only people whose opinions about Colin Kaepernick and his situation in the NFL matter? Football fans. People who know football. Their opinions are the only ones that matter. Why would the NFL give a damn what somebody who's never going to buy a ticket or ever tune into a game thinks about what's going on with Colin Kaepernick? But again, as I just said about tonight and the Grammys and the NBA, who is Colin Kaepernick and his crowd playing to? That narrow slice that doesn't watch football. Remember this. Colin Kaepernick left, I think 5 made the trip down to the high school. He left 20 scouts, representatives, people who got on planes from 20 different teams to go to Flowery Branch and watch him work out. And he left them high and dry. But there will be no coverage of this because, according to most people in the news media, they're caught up in it too. Everyone I know thinks that this whole evening out history and getting as woke as possible is the most important thing. But what about, wouldn't 85% of the people in the United States represent an audience? Huh?
Irreverent, entertaining,
gut-busting, very funny, and doesn't toe any party line.
I think it's a great show.
The Von Haessler Doctrine on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Town called Malice, as far as I'm concerned. All right, what's going on today? AM 750 is where you go. We split the signal again. If you want to be bored out of your mind and listen to the impeachment hearings, it's wall-to-wall impeachment hearings over on AM 750, while we actually entertain and inform here on the FM side of things. And so what's on deck? They want me to kind of pump this stuff up, give it a rock and roll feel so people get excited about these boring impeachment hearings. So what's going to go on today?
Republican.
Hold on, is Sandlin?
That's right.
This is the big Gordon Sandlin thing?
Republican mega donor turned Ambassador Gordon Sondland has emerged as a critical witness in this impeachment inquiry. In recent weeks, he changed his testimony and now recalls delivering a quid pro quo to the Ukrainians.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a rock and roll. Hell of a good time over there at AM 750. I'm told it's, be aware of the fact that it is BYOP. Bring your own pillow, but you are free to lay down. I wouldn't do this in your car, in your vehicle, but if you're at home and you got a cubicle, perhaps you got one of those big balls you sit on, so your core gets in better shape, relax on one of those things and bring a pillow and enjoy a boring day over on AM 750.
But Eric, he used to be a Republican, and he's changed his mind a couple of times before. He might change his mind this time.
Wow! You know what? Put a rerun on. I have to go over there and listen to that exciting show. Follow up on that. I had a friend. I still have this friend. Some years ago, it was his wedding anniversary. And I said, what anniversary? He said the last. All right. Before we go to Georgia stuff, maybe we should go through some of this impeachment stuff that we have here, right? Just as a public service.
Yeah, of course.
Again, as I've told people, we're under a heavy pressure from the federal government. Our audience is growing way too big, and people are enjoying our style of radio, and we are forced every once in a while to kind of slow things down. And it's called the Fairness Doctrine Act or something, and we have to allow the competitors to catch up. So what better way?
This is the Von Haessler Doctrine, and we have to play by the Fairness Doctrine.
That's right. And we have, so let's slow it down just a little bit here and bring people up to date with what's going on in the impeachment. By the way,
cool story.
Some of the people are like, Eric, why are you so? We don't mind whatever opinion you have about the impeachment, but Why do you just blow it off the way you do? Why do you not seem to care about it? And this is a good question. And when the audience has good questions, I will sit down. I won't tell you where. But while I'm sitting down, I'll ponder it. Why is that? That's a good question, the audience. Why is it that you just just don't care about it?
How long will you sit down for?
Oh, anywhere between 5 and 7 minutes.
Till your legs fall asleep.
Yeah, you still got to do that thing where you're... I can't get up, that's for sure. So I managed to work a little scatological humor right in there to the impeachment. That's why this show, I don't know if this doctrine thing is going to work. We're trying.
Well, it is that kind of show up there.
It certainly is. It is an S show.
Hey.
So this is the reason that I've really come to. I believe this. And if this angers you, then, into every life a little rain must fall, I guess, from whatever side you're on. I believe this to be true. I'm not telling you this to be true. I didn't wake up this morning and go, I want to try to convince my audience that this is true. No, I don't care. I'm telling you my point of view. This is the way I see this, and I believe that I am correct. I believe if you took the same set of circumstances all the way around, top to bottom, but just switched the parties. It was a Democrat president who made the call. And the House is Republican, but the Senate is Democrat. Everything is just mirrored. If you mirrored everything and just swapped everything, I say I believe because it's speculation. If I tell you the truth, I know in my heart of hearts that each side would also swap and start arguing the other side. This is the way that I see this. If Obama in 2012... had a phone call with the president of whatever and asked for... How
you doing, Vlad?
You need a favor.
What kind of favor do you need, Vlad? Well, we'll work it out.
And had something to do with, we need to look into some Romney nonsense. He's a businessman. We think that whatever. And if that were the situation, then I believe that Rush and Sean every day will be talking about how this is an impeachable offense and it's an affront and it's a whatever. And I believe that CNN and the Democrat Party and everybody who is so lined up to tell you that what Trump did was awful would be lined up to defend their president and say that this call. So that's where I come from, right? Where I'm looking at this is when I see that, then I'm sorry, I cannot take this seriously. Get back to me when you either do or don't impeach or there's a trial in the Senate, and maybe I'll pay a little more attention. But this is just politics. And as we're all learning, politics gets pretty damn boring after a while. This is what we're all learning. Remember when we used to not give a damn until it was election time?
Right.
And we get involved after Labor Day and wonder. That was exhilarating. And somebody, along with social media coming along and 24-hour news networks, decided, hey, wouldn't it be fun to have Christmas every day? No, it turns out it's not. It's exhausting. And so if it's just politics, and it's anchormen and women calling it history, by the way, when an anchorman or woman calls something history, that doesn't mean it's history. When it's history, you won't have to tell me. I'll just know it. You won't have to report it as history. Here's another thing on the whole impeachment thing. I've lost my notes here. Oh, here it is. Yeah, this is where I come down. And this is something that people, they don't even remember how to think like this. Or it will seem to be an abandonment. Or you're wishy-washy. No, it's not. You're recognizing the fact. In my mind, the call was neither perfect nor impeachable. That's where I am. It was a boneheaded move. It was stupid, and probably, I would say, morally, I don't dig it. But how can I compare it? This is the only call that we've ever heard in real time within the year that we're living of a president with a foreign leader that was a private call. So I have nothing to compare this to. When CNN and MSNBC come on, there seems to be the assumption that in over 240 years, no president has ever had a call like this with a foreign leader. How do I know that? Let's open it all up. Let's just pick random calls of the Obama administration over the years. Maybe it turns out that it's true that this... How am I supposed to know whether or not this stands out? Because Adam Schiff says he's shocked This guy's more unctuous than the average used car salesman. And I'm sorry to, I know some used car salesmen, and they're not all that bad. But you get my point. There's no one here. I don't have any. I'm not like a lot of people. I have no need to be led. For what a lot of people are enjoying right now on the left and right, I get out of sports. But I know it's stupid. Hey, that's my favorite team. Why? I don't know. I've been rooting for them for a long time. Jerry Seinfeld had a joke. They're wearing the pajamas I like. I applaud those colors. Yes.
Yeah. I got my education there.
Yeah, but it's dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's at least has something, right? If you actually attended a school, maybe there's something. But if you're just a fan of professional sporting teams, it rocks you to the core. But I'm smart enough to know that it's dumb.
Right.
There's really no difference between the wide receiver's character over here and this wide receiver, or that's a good there's good people and bad people all over. But because they wear a certain uniform, yeah, okay, that's where I get those yayas out. I know it's dumb. The idea of bringing that into policy making, choosing the people, Autumn has her hand up. It frightens me. Yes, Autumn.
I think it has something to do with getting everyone to vote. I understand that people are fighting for your right to vote, but when you're uninformed and you're told that you need to vote, you don't have enough information to go on, so you just are going for like the fast, easy things like conflict, right?
Well, to go back to the stupid tease from this morning on FBN.
Plus, Democratic presidential hopefuls are taking the stage tonight for another debate. Which candidate do you think will be attacked the most?
Oh, wow. We'll be talking about that at work all day.
Because that makes me think of Housewives, right? The Housewives on Bravo. Because I am uninformed, but I am being told that I need to vote. But I don't know enough to be interested in what they're going to talk about. So I need to know who's going to, bring out the tea. Yeah.
And I would take that one step further. This idea that everybody, look, you live in a country where everybody has the right to vote, and that's sacrosanct, okay? In reality, when people don't vote, that's a vote. What it means is things are good enough that I can still live blissfully and not care. Believe me, when people get pissed off, when people get angry about something local, something that's happening in their town, or they get angry, like if taxes went up to like 80% or something, and people go, whoa, I'm taking home nothing. Believe me, that gets people who normally don't vote off the couch, and they go and vote. So the group of people who can vote and don't, it was that Rush line. If you choose not to decide,
you still have made a choice.
You still have made a choice. And when you don't vote, what you are saying is, I'm pretty happy. Things are okay. Believe me, if there were bombs falling 4 blocks away, you'd vote. Because your attention and you're not happy and you don't like it. So everybody shouldn't vote, but we want to keep it. By the way, Trump disagrees with me earlier. I said that the call was neither perfect nor impeachable. And
Perfecto.
I'm sorry.
Perfecto. Yeah, you're wrong about that. It was a wonderful phone call. Perfecto.
When you were, and also another thing is, I've got Giuliani running around over there doing it's absurd.
You're going to look into this. If you don't do this, you're not going to look into it.
I have a theory about Giuliani.
What's that?
You remember he wanted to be the Secretary of State. Remember that period of time where he talked to Mitt Romney for a while, and then he wanted to be Secretary of State, and the story was that Giuliani was looking kind of old and feeble, and in the middle of one of these dinner meetings, Trump noticed that he fell asleep. And for Trump, that was the moment he said, that guy's not going to be my Secretary of State. And I feel like this was Giuliani's way back in, right? Nobody else, people were resigning. Now we know John Kelly wasn't digging it. People were resigning all over the place. And Giuliani comes in and goes, oh, you're right about Ukraine. We need to go in there. Crowd strike. Here's another thing. To go to the other side of it, why I don't have any skin in this game, because it's ridiculous. Every story that I see that mentions the part of the call where Trump brings up CrowdStrike and this theory, some people believe that the actual intervention didn't come from Russia in 2016, it came from Ukraine. All right. Every story I see just goes, a debunked conspiracy theory. By whom? Debunked by who debunked it? The same people who didn't see 9/11 coming? The same people who were, that we've met and these people like Comey and Strzok, that I don't care if you agree or disagree that they did something wrong or right. I mean, we got exposed to some really arrogant personalities. And I have no doubt that these are people who would run right over me and my family if they thought it could hang one more positive on their resume. I have never heard a conspiracy theory in my life that I've ever believed. That's the truth. But when I read something like, do we know that maybe there's a 90% chance that it did come out of Russia and that it wasn't out of Ukraine. But it's just tossed in there as if, Eric von Haessler, while you're reading the story, we don't need to source the word debunked. We don't need to go into that. It's a debunk. At what point is something debunked? Like, completely and totally, absolutely, there's no way. Okay, if that's true, then tell me, because it can't just be, so you're just saying the CIA did that? Were there did reporters go into it? Did the Miami Herald do a 5-month story on it? Like, it's just thrown in there. It's just like, I was talking yesterday about how they were saying quid pro quo for so long, and then the Democrats polled quid pro quo and found out most people didn't understand what it meant, and so they started saying bribery, and then the media just started saying bribery. They didn't say this would be the way to do it properly. What Democrats are now referring to as bribery. That's all you got to do. That's all you have to do. But instead, they just replaced quid pro quo with bribery, just like the Democrats did. So it's a clown show. And if it's a circus, I'm just going to get some popcorn, sit back, and enjoy the show and do a lot of heckling. That's my job. I don't understand. I'm just explaining myself.
Yeah. I wish you'd elaborate.
Very innocent.
Yeah. Boy, if the mics are ever open.
Yeah.
We're all not even unemployment line, like soup lines. If the conversations we have during commercials ever get out, they will disqualify us for unemployment.
Yeah, we will not get a severance package. Nothing.
We would just absolutely have to go to a charity house.
So canceled.
I said we were going to play some of that impeachment sound. We never did. We'll do that in the next hour. I went on a little rant, but squeeze in one of those. Snacky's not here, but one of those feel good stories.
Well, guys, it's Friendsgiving time. Everyone's getting together with their friends and they're having Thanksgiving with them. Friendsgiving.
Now this is I want to mock Friendsgiving because it just sounds stupid, but now obviously a lot of people will move to your town in the last year or so, and they're not with family, and if now usually what happens in the holidays is that someone like that and you invite them to your family thing, but now the Friendsgiving thing is no, that would be intimidating and awkward because I'm not related to anybody. So now all the people who don't have relatives around, they get together and have Friendsgiving. And now are there restaurants now who are making money off of this?
Oh, yeah, there's a whole list of them in the AJC.
Well, have them, you know what? This is a good way to help our sister publication, because that music says we're not going to be able to list them off. And we haven't even got to the impeachment stuff, so go over to our sister publication, the AJC. The Journal and the Constitution have gotten together now.
What?
It's a whole new deal. Go over there and find out where to have your Friendsgiving. Hour 2 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. Look at everything we did in that first hour. We should be able to knock off and go home. We gave our audience more in that first hour than the competitors will give them this entire month. But do we knock off? No. We're going to actually give you more. I think hour 2 is actually going to be a little bit better. I don't know if I can tell this story, though. I'll tell you this. I have to ask Tim Andrews. Sometime today, I want to tell you, Tim Andrews said, I think I found the end of the internet.
Oh. Sure you don't want to wait for the podcast 30?
I think I have a way to put it in family-friendly terms. We'll get to that.
I think only one word in the title is family.
See, that's why you bring in a pro.
I understand.
I know how to take the
Not
raunchy.
Autumn? You want Autumn to tell?
No. Autumn takes raunchy and makes it raunchy.
I understand.
Eric can take raunchy and put it into family-friendly. Yeah. That's what she's here for. She's here to be, she's the raunchy member of the gang.
Yeah,
Raunchy. Sick.
Yeah, she says
Raunchy Rachel.
There you go. So we do have an open mic, right? Let's do an open mic first, and then we'll get into the headlines and whatnot.
This is for Eric Von Haessler show. Yes. I had to pull over from driving because I'm laughing so hard about Fartgate. I mean, a fart forensic. No, this is like, I cannot stop laughing. This is like beyond funny. You have just like scored today. I'm going to be laughing all day today about the fart on the news.
She does. Hold on. Now, first of all, I can object and say, how many times do I come in here with not only a good sense of humor, but some insight and, dare I say it, wisdom? And what do I get the most feedback on? The fact that we talked about Eric Swalwell's fart on MSNBC. Eric Swalwell, as you remember. Do you have that moment racked up there?
I do. Here he is.
Hopefully this lady is at work. I don't want to cause any accidents. But basically the forensics have been done. We had fartologist Baden-Baden on yesterday.
That's right.
And you basically went through the whole thing and realized it was Swalwell.
Well, it was Swalwell, the gas.
So he was on with Chris Matthews.
Yes, that's right.
And what do you think? Hardball. What do you think about it, Chris? What him a guy coming on doing that?
I couldn't believe this guy came on my show right here. What do you see? And he found it right there on the screen.
So this guy was running for president. He's not running for president anymore. And together, it was one of those interviews where he's standing in the rotunda in the house. So there's a lot of marble and a lot of space, which equals echo. And so here he, and his eyes did bulge out a bit. So it was definitely him.
The internet is starting to call him Eric Fartwell now instead of Eric Swalwell. So here he is.
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from Republicans...
this guy is going to be marked by this for the rest of his career. You know he's young. He was going to run for president again. And that will always be there. And even with me, I walked out when we were done yesterday, in the newsroom. We have all the monitors. And Swalwell was asking questions of Vindman and whoever and there's nothing else I thought of except this guy. Hey, what do you have for dinner last night? Who's sitting next to this guy?
MSNBC came out last night and said it was a coffee mug being dragged across the table.
Is that what they said?
Then why did he pause?
Exactly.
Yeah,
it doesn't add up.
Baden-Baden knows. He's a fartologist.
Well, I said yesterday that you see these things.
Well, you know what a coffee mug sounds like.
Sometimes a coffee table with a mug being dragged across it is just a coffee table with a mug being dragged across. That was gas.
That's a heavy coffee mug. You know what? It's half true. Coffee was involved.
Yes.
Went right through.
Trying to stay awake. Got that hardball. It come on to like 8 or 9 at night. So he's got to stick with it.
Half the audience isn't even awake.
All right, Chris Matthews. I wonder if Swalwell gave him a call and said, "Look, it wasn't any sort of editorial comment on your show, Chris. I enjoyed being on your show. All right, let's do this.
Yeah, it was a not so silent protest.
Let's do this.
More headlines for Wednesday, November 20th.
What is that about?
It's changing things up a little bit. I got some new ideas in there. Clive Cliverson and I have been talking about.
We had music?
Yeah, getting the young people in there and all that.
I was getting the EDM crowd?
I guess.
This is not
the ED crowd or the EDM crowd?
As we know from 532 commercials currently running, we do have the erectile dysfunction crowd.
Wait till you hear the new ad we got. It's half ecstasy.
Yeah.
Half ecstasy. Or half Molly, whatever the kids call it, and half Viagra. So you mix it all together, you just rock it and roll it, I call it.
I've got my Mr. Swalwell.
Well, he's into it.
I've gotten myself, you get these things are so suggestive because this is my favorite radio station. I listen all the time. Now, every time I meet a listener, I'm thinking, has that guy got erectile dysfunction?
How you doing down there, buddy?
Somebody's running the numbers on our audience here. And it's
just look at his wife and see if she's miserable and exhausted. Then you'll know.
Then you'll know. Eric Swalwell is there.
90 minutes?
Well, I brought that up before. I know that when, for years you didn't have the ED drugs, and guys just had to deal with it. And basically, for years, it was really kind of a thing. Like, doctors didn't want to be sued, right? So as soon as your prostate grew up at all, they just yanked it out. And so you had a whole generation of people who by the time they were 60 just had no abilities to do anything, and they just had to deal with it. And then all of a sudden, in the mid-90s, late 90s, Viagra comes out, and Bob Dole's pitching it on TV, That was the Pepsi.
I know. Same time, though.
And I know if nobody ever thought about this. Is the idea was, why isn't this great again? These guys are able to have relations once again. It's a miracle. But no one was thinking about the 68-year-old wife who's like, oh no, what?
Yeah.
I thought I was done. Are you kidding me? This every night now?
Again?
This guy? Oh, I thought
My hip!
I thought I had put that horrible part of my past. I mean, everything else about the guy I like.
Yeah.
Never really got into that all that much, and I thought it was behind us. Now in the Winnebago, we're in the Winnebago, going across America. I got to deal with this? Yes.
I was going to say that now that everything started working again, I think the husbands probably weren't thinking of the 68-year-old wives anymore.
Oh, it was mistress time.
Yeah, you got a new engine under the hood.
It's like me. It's the
Trying
way
to find a new road.
The way that I get, the way that I get my mistresses, and say, hey, I know I ain't much to look at, but you should see my checking account, huh? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, my God.
Does that get you going?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Wow. Do you have any pills?
Hey, I can afford anything, whenever you like.
Sweet.
Yeah.
No, I mean for you.
Oh.
You got 90 minutes to kill?
I got pills for me, and I got pills for you.
Sweet.
She could be an influencer now because she has money. You can take her on these lavish trips now.
That's right. Yeah, you'll be a big YouTube. Hey, darling.
I don't want you in the picture.
Hey, darling. I know. I don't want to be in the picture because my wife will see it. So this is perfect. Hey, darling.
Yeah.
I know I ain't much to look at, but I could turn you into a YouTube influencer.
Oh, like Pootie Pie?
An Insta-fluencer.
Pootie Pie?
Yeah, like Pootie Pie.
Yeah, I'm
Beauty.
well, she doesn't know. She's not so smart.
Oh,
what do you think
sorry.
What do you think I'm trolling the halls of Harvard?
Yeah, you're right.
This other girl can feel free to jump in at any time.
I would have, but somebody
I was
else-
waiting.
Hey! You guys work this out at the after.
I was hoping she would.
The after show meeting. All right, what do you got?
Donald and Melania Trump officially registered to vote in Florida, guys.
Oh, this is what I love.
I need to vote.
So he's born and raised in New York City.
New York.
And now,
New York.
think of this for the future. Donald Trump becoming a Florida man. I love this. Lifestyle changes when you go to Florida, right?
That's right. I stopped at Walmart and I bought a whole bunch of, sleeveless T-shirts. They're white sleeveless T-shirts. I mean, they're going to have stains on them eventually. And
I see you applied for an ATV license.
Well, we bought a retirement trailer, and we got one of those 3-wheel bikes for Melania because she never learned how to ride a bike. But
I don't know how to do it.
I got this, honey. Listen, what I plan on doing first is harassing people in the park that I don't know. Probably doing some bath salts. I have an unregistered ATV I'll be driving around. And that shirt I bought, I'll probably be taking it off while I yell at my neighbors and throw burritos at them.
So I welcome this. President
By the
Trump.
way, you got to have jorts. Everybody needs jorts, Melania. Get some of those jorts.
I don't want.
Too bad you're in Florida. When in Rome.
When in Florida, be a Florida man.
People like you can live, in St. Augustine, you're going to live in the Panhandle like that's the...
You're an Ocala man, you told me.
I said Ocala, but listen, Pinellas County. You haven't met any place on earth as cool as Pinellas County, Florida.
I don't want to have crocodile for dinner again.
Don't worry, they're alligators. We're going to have chicken wings at the biker bar. Chicken wings at the bar. They're great.
I have to say that Tim Andrews has drawn a sketch of Trump as the Florida man.
Yeah,
and,
it's I'm sorry.
We have to. Well, Trump loves it. We have to call this show today the podcast version Florida Man, just so we could use this art as the.
It's my first mugshot. You're like.
It's fantastic.
Hey, how did I know you couldn't drive an ATV on the interstate?
Shirtless. Next story.
Well, with all the big debate stuff going on tonight, all
the big debate stuff
going on tonight here in Atlanta.
My phone call was perfecto. Sorry. Just throwing that in because they're going to be going after him.
All the networks are here in Atlanta. CNN, Fox News, NBC, CBS, ABC.
Have there been any Brett Baer spottings? Doug Turnbull spotted a Brett Baer in the backyard of a...
That's right, we saw Brett Baer. Brett Baer was in the back of somebody's house there in Tucker, Georgia. People are trying to go out there and capture him, but Wolf Blitzer is Sandy Springs. There's a Wolf Blitzer running free.
You got a Wolf Blitzer and a Brett Baer on the prowl.
Yeah,
they're flying around here smiling.
And NBC did this great op-ed saying that Atlanta may have found their own AOC, guys.
Oh, no. Is this what we want?
Well,
who's our AOC?
So this lady, her name is Nablee Islam, and she is running for Georgia's 7th district. That's where Rob Woodall is retiring.
Yeah.
And there's 5 other people running, and she is...
and so by just the fact that this puff piece has appeared, I'm saying the press is lining up on the side of Georgia's own AOC. Is that what we need?
That's right.
Isn't AOC vapid enough for the entire nation? Do we need to clone this?
I think they need more of them.
Hopefully we get back. We have a little bit of time, but before this hour is out, I know I've already promised impeachment audio I haven't delivered on. Before this hour is out, I got some audio from AOC from about 3 weeks ago that I had never heard. That you want to talk about? This is no founding mother. Let's put it that way. All right, very quickly. So you say, what was this puff piece through? Does Georgia have their own AOC?
Yeah, this young woman's name is Nablee Islam, and she's running for Georgia's 7th district.
Never heard of her. I don't know. I have nothing. I have no opinion. I don't know. But the world doesn't need another AOC. Let me tell you, this person who, by the way, as far as I know, has never debated anyone of substance, refuses to do that, will not debate her ideas. All of her ideas come out of the sociology department of whatever campus she spent most time on. Where'd she go, to Emerson or Boston U or something?
I think BU.
Is Boston U? That's a sounds like one of those places teenagers shop.
BU.
Boston U.
I got my new BU shirt.
All right, so this is AOC from a few weeks ago. I haven't seen this around at all. And so just check this out, okay? This is the future, supposedly, of leadership in this country.
And so when you elect a politician and then they let you down, it feels like rejection. It feels like heartbreak. It feels like betrayal. And it feels like I never want to love again. That's what that feels like. And so I understand how that feels because I felt that way. But you know what happens when you say, I never want to love again? Your heart gets black and you turn angry and you get very anxious.
First of all, I don't like the idea of black being obviously negative. That's another thing. I was just very, they get something.
Whoa, sorry.
Yes. So it feels like...
It feels like rejection.
Or?
It feels like heartbreak.
And?
It feels like I never want to love again.
Hey, Democrats, this is the future. You know what it feels like to me as somebody who's 55, been voting since 1984? Feels like that's the way elections are.
Your heart is very black.
No, my heart is not
and
black.
And it just feels like you've stepped in dog doo-doo. And like
and
when you
steak.
Like you burnt the toast in your toaster, you put it on too long.
Or like when
you sneeze into your elbow and you leave a mucusy thing behind.
It feels like heartbreak.
And that's just really hard, and I know what that's like.
The future of the Democrat Party.
It feels like I never want to love again.
Okay. All right. Jared Yamamoto is looking at me. I've been working with him so long that he doesn't, you ever been around somebody so long, you don't have to say words, just a certain look.
Yes, absolutely.
That's why I don't even need you to turn your mic on. You just look at me. I know exactly.
I know.
And I'm getting that look from Jared Yamamoto that says, yeah, sure, we're going to go on. We're going to do WTF, hosted by and featuring the awesome and wonderful Autumn Fisher. But that look that Jared Yamamoto has given me said, I got some open mics. I want to sneak some open mics in here just as surely as Eric Swalwell snuck his little commentary into his Chris Matthews appearance. You want to sneak some open mics in?
Yeah, lots of show love today, man.
Oh, really?
We love the Von Haessler Doctrine. Do more open mic, please.
Okay, all right. Well, that's one.
More open mic?
Yeah, open mic is here.
Please.
Hey, open mic.
Yeah.
There's a fan. You got a fan.
Oh, it's been a long time, so thank
It's
that
been
guy.
a while. Open mic. He's so open.
I'm going to go, I'm so open. I'm going to walk right out of here through myself.
No, you're transparently open.
Yeah.
But I know we've played a lot of positive open mics.
Yeah, that's all I want is positive. I think I told you at the meeting, no more negatives.
Well, this guy snuck through.
Right.
Please find something else for your morning show, as the people that are currently on there are so irritating And the guy that tries to imitate voices is not funny at all. Period. Why can't we have something like Newt Gingrich?
Oh, Newt Gingrich in the morning, huh? Oh, I wish I had our theme. Do you have our theme music? Alan, can you rack up the theme music? I'd like to get this go. So this would be the Newt Gingrich Doctrine. So you have it, Alan?
Live from Sherwood Forest. It's the Newt Gingrich Doctrine. Coming up on the Newt Gingrich Doctrine today, we'll be talking about the original Fries Award, Sean. Wow. Sean Hannity will be joining me. Sarah A. Carter will be joining me.
Hey, you're just stealing from Sean Hannity's guests.
No, this is the Newt Gingrich Doctrine. We'll be talking about Georgia stuff because I used to be a congressman from Georgia. I know the guy doing my voice doesn't sound a thing like me.
Yeah, you know what, though?
I'm Callista Gingrich, his wife, and I'm going to give you my hair tips to have the most beautiful hair.
All right, now be quiet, woman.
Wow.
I'm originally from Dauphin, Pennsylvania, but I don't like people talking about that. I'm from Georgia, boy. Also joining us, we're going to be doing What the Heck. We're doing What the Heck. What else are we doing on the show?
Hey,
Jared. I hate millennials.
Dude, come on, man.
He just he starts slowly fading into just this show.
Alan likes guns.
So that's not a machine gun.
What? Oh, yeah. Jared's writing a joke for me.
It'd be funny if Newt Gingrich then went shock jockey, like...
oh, yeah, look at her. I love lesbians. Now we got some of the lesbians in here. Why don't you do some lesbian stuff?
You see, and you ask yourself, why? Why no Newt in the morning? Well, because we're protecting you. Guy's an obvious shock jock. You need a radio professional such as myself.
No, I didn't mean go online and adopt a dog.
So, yeah. So, and later on, and if Newt was here, I wouldn't be able to keep teasing you with the idea that I'm going to fill you in on what Tim Andrews told me today before we went on the air. But I got to figure out a way to make it family friendly. Tim said, I think I found the end of the internet last night. And I think he's right. I have to be honest with you. I just have to figure out.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up during the break.
How to get this across to an audience that's family friendly and FCC governed. Well, that's the host, Newt Gingrich. He doesn't know how to do that. It's like,
I don't watch any kind of dirty stuff like that. I just worry about the original Fries Award.
Yeah.
TikTok, the IG report's coming any day now.
Stealing stuff from Sean.
Where we go one, we go all. QAnon.
Newt, you got how it happened. The Gettysburg Address.
Now, listen. Look, everybody knows the Gettysburg. Look, Newt's one of those guys that's out there selling knockoff Betsy Ross shirts.
Is it true? Newt Gingrich is the one. He had one of those knockoff Betsy Ross.
I have a screen printing shop in the back of my house. I've had my wife out there running the screens.
All right. We got to do this? Let's do this.
What the?
Seriously, what the?
WTF with Autumn Fisher.
On Newt's show, it's WTH. What the heck?
What the heck?
So,
hi, guys.
Autumn, we must ask you, what the heck?
All right, South Dakota has a new anti-drug campaign that has to do with meth.
Yeah, that's good, right? That's good, right?
Yeah, this sounds good, but the campaign slogan is meth. We're on it.
Meaning,
so there's citizens, there's like a cowboy-looking guy, he's old grandpa leaning up against a meth, I'm on it. And then a bunch of high school football players, meth, we're on it.
Obviously, they're thinking as in, we're going to take care of this problem, not realizing that saying that you're on meth has another meaning, like you're on meth.
Right.
Well, you guys be the judge.
They paid like $500,000 to this ad campaign.
So, let me tell you something. If you're in South Dakota, woo, I'm on it. All right, so let's hear. Maybe it sounds dumb, but maybe it actually
convince you.
All right.
I'm on meth.
I'm on meth.
I'm on it too.
So am I.
So am I.
I'm on meth.
Meth is not someone else's problem. It's everyone in South Dakota's problem. And we need everyone to get on it.
I'm on it.
I'm on it.
I'm on it too.
We need everyone to get on it?
You know where I get some?
I'm on. I mean, I would love to be on it with you. I would love to. Look, I would also like to be on.
Are you from South Dakota?
I'm from South Dakota. I would love to be on it with you guys. Janet, well, listen. I'm not on it right now, but I would love to be on it.
I'm on it.
She's on it.
She's on it.
Hey, how much to be on it with you? Oh.
Hey, hold on. At the very end of that, that's what. This is the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. First of all, just okay. Maybe it gets by you that I'm on it means you're on it, as well as that you're taking control, I guess.
Right.
But the thing at the very end, we need everyone in South Dakota to be on it,
and we need everyone to get on it.
Meth. We need everyone to get on it.
On meth.
The whole state's fighting.
Especially the beginning with the old, I'm on meth.
Like, what's the
I'm on meth.
It starts out like
that sounds like a real meth.
It sounds. Hold on. So at the beginning, it sounds like the beginning of any like Terminator trailer.
Yeah.
Ding. By the way, hold on. What is?
Future hasn't been decided.
I got to ask about that. This has nothing to do with this. But every trailer, what is with that ping?
To get your attention.
But it's in every trailer. It doesn't matter what the company, what movie companies.
It's either that or it's that bong.
Yeah, but
the drone sound.
But there's always that for some in the very beginning of her, ping.
Yeah.
This one. There it is.
Frozen 2.
Get on it.
Elsa.
Bambi. The reckoning.
In the clear. Let's just hear
He's
this.
back. He's going to find that hunter that killed his mom.
This time it's personal.
I'm on meth.
I'm on meth.
I'm on it too.
So am I.
So am I.
I'm on meth.
Meth is not someone else's problem. It's everyone in South Dakota's problem. And we need everyone to get on it.
I'm on it.
I'm on it.
I'm on it too.
Okay, this is what happens. There's not a lot of people in South Dakota, so it just makes sense that the worst public relation type people end up in South Dakota, right? First of all, you couldn't get a job in North Dakota, and then you just work your way through the rest of the United States. How in the world do public service announcement writing not pick that up?
I'm on meth.
I'm on meth.
Yeah.
We need
This
is state saying
We need to be on meth.
we need to get everybody on it.
My grandson's on meth.
Even the governor's on meth.
I'm on it too.
I'm on it too.
Or like in a twisted world, it won't be far. But like the story would just be, the story would be, Sesame Street has added a new character, a new Muppet, Meth Muppet.
Give me some of that meth, or I'm going to kill Oscar.
My parents are going. I heard a Sesame Street thing. I must have been listening to that government radio station, and it's just like the Muppets now. My mommy goes to a place where she can talk to other people who have her drug problems. When I was 6 years old, what in the hell?
Noony. Meth. Addict. Noony.
I barely got the idea of,
Does your mommy have needles on the coffee table?
At the meth addict
Make sure you throw
picnic.
them away.
Who feels a need to explain this stuff to kids? Like, hey, you know what? Mom's in rehab. Can you take care of the kids for a few days? The person, okay, these are the worst adults in the world. Yeah. Okay, let's sit down with the kids. No, you just don't explain anything. After 9/11, I remember for a while there was this idea, what do we tell the kids about 9/11? This is what you tell the kids. Hey, go out and be kids. Right. Ride your bikes, have fun. The adults have this one. We'll take care of it. You don't need to sit down and say, well, there are people who would, if they got their hands on you, they just tear your head off. I mean,
sometimes mommy has human fingers and toes in the freezer.
Hey, Billy, your mother's been using Big Bird's nest to entertain callers.
I have a lot of uncles.
What happened to us? Everything doesn't have to be explained to children. There are children things, and there's adult things. The adults are supposed to take care of it. My goodness. So the state of South Dakota, we know, apparently the pitch is we want everyone on meth.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess
they want everyone to take action against meth, but it's too ripe for
No. That's not what I heard. I heard they want everybody in the state to be on meth. That's what I heard.
Well, that's what you heard.
And you know what? It makes sense. Fighting fire with fire is a thing.
That's true. Listen, if everybody's on meth, then we've leveled the playing field.
It's a Spartacus thing. I'm on meth.
That's right. I am too.
I'm on it too. I'm on it too.
I'm on meth.
Hey, if we're all on meth, none of us are on meth.
There you go.
Eric Von Haessler.
If you think the stock market is unpredictable, buckle up and spend the next hour here. Seriously, we have no idea what he's going to say next. Eric Von Haessler on 95.5 WSB.
Autumn, I know you have more WTF stories, and I promise we'll spread them out a little bit throughout the rest of the show. But you dug up that Muppet that had the mom on opioids who goes to meetings?
Yeah, we covered it on this show a couple months ago.
I thought I heard it for the first time on government radio. No, we covered it first. But here's this is
Carly the Muppet.
Carly the Muppet's mom is an opioid addict, and she feels the need to bring all her friends down by explaining what's going on, right? Is that what I recall? All right.
What meeting did Carly's mommy have to go to?
Well, buddy, Carly's mom has been having a hard time. So in order to help her get better, she goes to a meeting with her group. They all sit in a circle.
Oh, Elmo likes singing circle time in school. Oh, does Carly's mommy sing songs in a circle?
No, they talk about grown-up problems.
I'm a child.
She goes every day so that she stays healthy. You see,
listen to me.
Well, my mom needs help.
How dare you?
This is the tortured children all of a sudden.
My mommy needs help. She likes to feel too good. And when she doesn't feel too good, she gets really sick.
Oh, that's really uplifting.
Hey, Bert, this place sucks. Let's move. Okay, Ernie.
Get off that street.
There's blood everywhere.
Even the kids are a downer. Hour 3 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. Well, you know, one of the screens we have up there, I mean, to really explain it, it's 4 different stations on one screen. One of them is the Weather Channel. Have you noticed there's a lot more animation on the Weather Channel all of a sudden? I don't know what that's about. A lot of animation I'm seeing. Even when they have real people in there, they throw like fake snow in front of them, or they show how a car would be swept away by a raging river. And I'm thankful for that, because without that animation, and you just told me that, I could not, with my abstract abilities, even imagine that unless I saw it in sort of an animated form. And then I'm looking up there, I just saw it was a Rudolph being brought down by a hurricane. It's really, I think it's
maybe neck was all twisted.
Yeah, maybe I don't need to see that. I can imagine what would happen in that kind of circumstance. Also, everybody's excited today in Georgia because we got a big debate is right here. The presidential primary. What is there? 15, 17? What are they down to? 12, 10?
10 tonight.
Yeah, everybody's excited. Political debate. Yeah, that's right. Right here in Georgia, y'all.
How you doing, Atlanta? I can't hear you. I said, how you doing, Atlanta?
A lot of pretty looking little girls out there. I can't do that one. ZZ Top is not invited. Is not invited. Also, by the way,
very educated and qualified women out there.
That's that. Do that again. That's the new ZZ Top, the 2019.
They got a lot of intelligent women down there.
Educated, empowered
women down there.
And there's a lot of if you had the Super Bowl or something like that. A lot of pregame stuff, a lot of activities, things being featured. For years, there's been a couple of things people have argued about. Who would win a fight? Batman versus Superman for years. Now we found out, we still don't know, but it would make a really, really, really boring movie. That's all we know now. But for years we argued who would win a fight.
They have the same mother's name.
Between Batman and Superman. And of course, next to that, in the animal kingdom, we've always had the fight, had the argument, who would win between a wolf and a bear? And in the parking lot at Tyler Perry Studios later on, we are going to settle this when Wolf Blitzer fights Brett Baer.
Bring it on, Brett Baer. I'm Wolf Blitzer, and I'm going to smack the crap out of you.
There's a lot of smack talk going on. It's not just a boring political debate amongst 10 people who are going to grovel at the feet of Stacey Abrams. Oh, no. We're going to finally find out who wins in a battle between Wolf and Bear.
Even more headlines for Wednesday, November 20th.
It's a big day here in Georgia. I couldn't be prouder. As a Pete Stater.
I love it down here in Atlanta. My name is Mayor Pete.
Yeah. Hey, Mayor Pete, man. He's
surging everywhere.
Surging in Iowa.
Remember when you said he had no chance?
He's surging everywhere where there's a lot of white people.
Yep. Yeah, he's 20 points below Biden in South Carolina.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Biden looks like he might, Biden, let me tell you something. That Biden lead in South Carolina means nothing. Because if he comes in, to me, in my lifetime, now, politics is so crazy now, you can't really depend on what you know from before. But a front runner can come in second, can limp out of Iowa in third, but if the understood front runner for months walks out of Iowa in fourth place, I think you see that crumble all over. Where, okay, this guy can't get it done, and people start jumping ship. So look for that. But this guy's got $25 million he's spending all over the state of Iowa. Joe Biden has something like 6. So it's going to be interesting. Mayor Pete's going to be one of the last standing. Yes. That's for sure.
He's got a ton of money, too.
Autumn doesn't even know one thing he believes on any.
Hey, I know what he believes in.
Listen, I don't need the backlash. I don't need the most liberal person on this panel to get me in trouble. I talk about Mayor Pete without ever mentioning.
That's fine. That's not important to you.
On the other hand,
this fact about him is important to me.
She's going to vote for somebody for president just because they're gay.
And his name is Pete.
That has to be as wrong as not voting for somebody for president.
That was my point earlier in the show. People who don't know enough about politics should not be able to vote. And I don't know who is going to determine that.
Yeah. So you're saying is stop me before I shoot again, before I kill again. Somebody keep me from voting.
Yeah. In Autumn's defense,
I should not be allowed to. I don't know enough about anything.
In Autumn's defense, isn't it notorious from the past that people have voted for the taller candidate, right? This is kind of this is Autumn's tall factor.
I couldn't pick Mayor Pete out of a lineup.
What?
I don't know what he looks like.
Come on. And all this time, you haven't taken the time. I'll tell you the one. He's one.
It's not important to me.
He's the one who's not 78. He's pretty.
I mean, listen. If you had Biden and you had Trump and then you had Pete, I could pick Pete. I understand that.
He's a
but it's just a process of elimination.
You've never seen him?
I mean, maybe I have, but I couldn't.
She's all in favor
walk
of this
in
guy.
the room right
She's
now.
Never seen him, and she's in favor of him just because of his particular sexuality. That's it.
Well, now listen. Does that matter? It shouldn't matter whether I've seen him or not.
Well, yeah, because you might want to. Sometimes you can test whether somebody's lying to you, or the eye test. Do they look like this guy?
He would never.
Like this guy Adam Schiff. He's got those bulgy eyes. I don't believe anything he says.
He would never.
They say
Mayor Pete. He would never lie to me.
Yeah, if you could recognize him. If he did lie to you, you wouldn't know it because you know what he looks like.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, she's probably got like a Mayor Pete sign in her front yard. If he came by, if he saw the sign, he knocked on her door, she'd be like, sorry, we gave it the office.
Yeah.
No, you got a sign with me.
I made the sign myself, but I didn't know how to spell Buttigieg.
What do you call you? Just say,
they call me Mayor Pete.
There's no Buttigieg. This is Mayor Pete.
Mayor Pete.
Hey, Autumn, he's a millennial, though.
Yeah, 37. It's right there on the edge.
No, he's not a millennial.
He identifies as a millennial. Well, you have to listen
incorrect.
to him.
Okay,
he is correct.
Can I tell you that I'm upset people? There's two things. I have gotten to the point now where I am so... In my mentality about these politicians, they're just the worst in my entire lifetime. All of them, the whole gang, the whole lot. That I look for now. I'm looking for myself, like just what would be fun, right? There's two things that would be fun on election night in November next year, just for me. Now, this is my own personal. I don't know that I think that one of these things I'm going to say is not going to be seen as good for the show, but I don't care anymore. So. One outcome that would be hilarious to me is that Trump gets reelected. Because it would really, and I don't know if people are thinking about this, it would signal the end of the influence of mainstream media, so-called mainstream media. You know, that whole idea, LBJ saying, when I lost Cronkite on Vietnam, I lost the country. That this would be you have no influence, CNN. You have no influence, Washington Post. You have no influence, ABC. If for 4 years you pound on this guy, illegitimate, embarrassing, whatever, and if he gets reelected, it will just be funny to watch the faces of Stephen Colbert and Wolf Blitzer and everybody at MSNBC. It would just be funny. Now, the complete opposite of that would be Mayor Pete winning the presidency and watching him dance at the inaugural ball with his husband,
Jason.
Just knowing that right wingers are throwing food at their television sets. For me, either one of those outcomes would be just hysterical. And given the fact that this is nothing but a clown show, why not go for the laughs?
Yes.
Why not go for All right. What do we start? Do we not start?
We did
We're
start.
on the same page, Eric.
Yeah.
Now, not only,
almost.
Now, not only.
Except I know all the candidates. I could. All
you
of
can
them.
read it.
I mean, that guy who looked like a mailman from Montana that was running. I don't know. That guy, yeah,
Delaney.
I recognize Delaney. He looks like the guy from the next door neighbor in King of the Hill.
Bill.
Bill, don't dream.
All right, what you got?
Now, not only is this November 20th important in 2019, it was important back in 2017 because the infamous MARTA bus blocked the Weather Channel's camera view of the Georgia Dome demolition. That happened 2 years ago today.
Yeah, are we really getting nostalgic about this history?
Yes.
All right, hold
Gosh,
on.
remember that?
Hold on.
Wow. Things were so different.
Well, you know, Ken Burns made a documentary about it.
I can't believe that 2 years ago, down some old boys of mine were driving down on 85. They was headed south, and they saw the other side of the bridge just collapse. A little bit of fire there, and it tickled me to one fella. He said,
Hey, hold on, wait a minute. This is not about the bridge collapse. It's about the demolition of the dome. The bus blocked the shot.
Would you let me get to what I'm saying?
Oh, you going for that?
Yeah. I planned this whole thing out.
Can you throw in a Dear Martha?
Don't interrupt the
I'm sorry.
story.
I thought he went the wrong way with it.
I know.
Could you throw in a Dear Martha or
Dear
something?
Martha, can I finish my story?
Do that again.
Dear Martha, can I finish my story, please?
Certainly.
And then the old boy said, well, the road done fell. What's next to happen? I said, well, I hear they're blowing up the Georgia Dome and make room for that new fancy Mercedes-Benz place. And I said, well, let's go down and check that out. And we went down there, of course. And we got out the rocket type, set it up. And we was getting ready. You had to leave that lens open for about an hour. So we had it open. The rocket type there for about an hour. That's the right thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And so we had
This letter is very interactive.
We had it open. Martha, I love you so much that I often write my own thoughts when I get distracted and also ask other people questions from the future. So we get down there and this old boy says, this kind of reminds me of the time General Sherman set fire to the city and they blocked it with a stagecoach so you couldn't see it. So we get down there, we got to the rocket type, it's all ready to go. It's been open for an hour and a half now. The old bus gets right there in front of it. And to this day, it tickles me that we had done all that work and we just got a blurry picture of a bus.
Shelby Foote, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
They really spoke differently back then, didn't they?
They really did. Yeah, they
in the 90s.
Yeah, back in the 90s.
in the 2017s.
Yeah, what was it? Just 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I've been dead since 2007 or 8, I think.
That was bus 1445.
I always like Shelby Foote because of that thing. He always it tickled me.
Well, it tickled me to think that Abe Lincoln had written a letter to General McClellan that said, if you're not busy using the Army, you mind if I borrow it for a while?
Tickled you.
Tickled me.
Yeah, I miss entertainers like Liberace. Huh?
Oh, thank you so much, Eric.
It's like a Liberace if you had a variety show. And you go, oh, the girls are so pretty.
They're all over me. That's why I have this candelabra to beat them off.
Whoa. Okay. I know. It's all right. It's fine. This word's put together, a different meaning. It's fine. Oh, look at him. He's scared now. That's it. That was the end of your radio career. Wait till I tell everybody what you saw last night that convinces you reached the end of the internet.
Well, should I get in trouble for that?
That's going to toss you off the radio right there, just having a person of that moral character near the host of such an important show. You have a little story for me? That's what we do here. We tell story. We don't tell story. We tell something. We cover the news.
Storytellers.
That's story. It's all storytelling. It's all BS, people. We have our particular brand of it.
Yeah, this is all scripted.
Yeah, it's all scripted. Here's mine right here. Hey, I'm sorry, Rush. I'm not stealing your act.
First you're working blue, and then you're stealing my act.
I'm not stealing your act. What? That music tells me we don't even have time for the one story that you had on deck.
Well, I got some news for you. It's about Alex Trebek in the greatest of all-time tournament that's coming this January. Oh. You won't believe what Alex's prediction is.
Okay, here's my tease. It's really a question. Was that the worst tease in radio history?
Probably.
I don't even know that I feel an obligation to pay off on that horrible tease that Jared Yamamoto.
Well, I've been sitting here with bated breath.
All right.
Thank you, Tim.
So it's Jeopardy.
Something I won't believe.
Yeah. Which, by the way, the reason the show is great is because the host is totally honest with you. And I've been watching Jeopardy all my life, and I love Alex Trebek. I have been watching Alex Trebek. When I was a kid in the 70s, I loved game shows. So there was about a year or so that I didn't go to school, and that's a whole different thing. So I was watching game shows constantly.
Card Sharks.
This Card Sharks. Like this is 1973 into 4. And I believe I became an Alex Trebek fan, at least his first big break in America. Maybe he was on something before this, but he had a show called High Rollers.
Oh, those giant dice.
Huge dice. Yeah, and I just loved it. And by the way, you got to check this out sometimes. The Vanna White of that show, the co-host girl, who moved the dice around, appeared to be drunk quite often. I didn't realize it now.
The 70s.
I went back looking now, and I was like, she's just toppling over there. She does not seem steady on her feet. But so I've been an Alex Trebek fan for a very long time. I have a problem watching Jeopardy now because I get too sad. I'm just too sad. I can't watch. I mean, I know people have had this diagnosis before. It's a terrible one. I mean, the first thing we heard was 4th stage pancreatic cancer. Pancreatic cancer. Is it pancreas?
It is, and it's very difficult to ever come back from that.
It's very, very few get through that. And so I've been following this guy since the 70s. Before Jeopardy, and it's just hard for me. I'm a Jeopardy fan, but I feel like it would be like a loved one of mine, and I'm just watching them die,
deteriorate.
I mean, I can't, it's not, and I know people listening and go, well, it's because I love him, it's just, I can't bring myself to it. I'm just being honest with you. Judge me if you will. That's where I stay. I just can't bring myself to it.
Oh, no.
But now,
I'm sorry. That's not correct.
Oot and a boot.
Oot and a boot. Oh, no.
So now they are going to do what they're calling the GOAT Championship.
Yeah, greatest of all time.
I thought this is a new thing for me, too. All of my life, the guy who messed it up and you didn't win the game was called the GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
And now, in the last few years, now GOAT is acronym for greatest of all time. It's very. I heard Joe Montana didn't know how to take it. It's like I saw him on a show. He's like, they're calling me the GOAT. I don't understand. I won 4 Super Bowls. So now this is being translated over into everyday life, and they're going to have three of the greatest contestants of all time. They'll play for $1 million on Jeopardy GOAT. And Alex Trebek is saying he knows what I know, which is there's only one winner here. And that's Jeopardy James.
Correct.
James Holzhauer.
Yes. Though Ken Jennings will be in this one, too.
Jennings. Okay, we'll see. I'd like to see the straight up. Because and I'm sure there's somebody else. I can't remember if it was a guy or...
It's Brad.
Right. This guy...
Brad.
He may have come...
Of course it's Brad.
There was a time, and this may or may not be the person, but a lot of... when people were talking about this, I guess there was a time where you could only be on Jeopardy for a week.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter. And then you came back for the Tournament of Champions, but you could only be on for a week. And Ken Jennings and James Holzhauer came after that. They could keep on going. if you take just this 1 week of winnings that this other person has, I don't know if it's Brad or not. Hopefully it is. Apparently, he would have been on a track to have won much more than either Ken Jennings but that was so long
Brad
ago.
Rutter is his name.
Couldn't he have lost it by now? I mean, this is a long time ago. If he was in his 40s then, what's he doing now? I don't know.
Invested it well.
I'm not saying the money. I'm just saying, are you going to be as sharp?
Well,
it comes time for the GOAT.
I hope so.
I want to
Holzhauer
be
the GOAT.
Holzhauer just went on his run last year, right?
Holzhauer,
Or
what?
was it earlier this year?
This summer.
Year? I get them all mixed up.
What's it now?
You're up against James Holzhauer.
Who's what's it now?
Jeopardy
Holding what?
Okay, here's our next potent potables.
I'll take things that nobody knows for 500, Ellen. No, I'm sorry. Only even numbers.
I will have to tune in for that.
He doesn't look bad.
Something about Jeopardy, James. It's I know. It's not that. It's just that I know. It's just he's not a loved one. It's a weird thing with TV people that you've been watching for a long time. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. I have plenty of friends and family that I've lost to cancer myself. I just don't know the guy. It's a weird thing because you see somebody on TV and you get close to them, even though you could walk past each other in the street, and he would have no idea who.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah. And I've always heard that it's a little bit difficult, which I don't care, because he's just great at what he does. Although I'm a bigger fan of high rollers than actual Jeopardy. But
this is pretty fascinating. This has happened before. Ken Jennings and Brad Rutter and an IBM computer platform.
I saw that one. That was Watson.
Yeah, Watson all came on, and and Brad got third in that competition. Ken Jennings won.
Watson won.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure Watson won that one. Nobody beats Watson. I remember that his final Jeopardy answer, Ken Jennings wrote something like, I bow to our new computer overlords, or something like that. So Ken Jennings got a sense of humor. James Holzhauer is, I don't know. He's a little bit, you think that he's going to be on the spectrum or something, but he's not. He's got a sense of humor, so he's not like that. He is he does have depth of feeling and all that. But nobody beats the computer because the computer doesn't have any feelings.
And you are 100% right. Of course Watson did beat it. You know what? Look at that memory over there.
Well 5 years.
Wow, you're so old, but your memory is still so sharp.
I suffered a little bit of ageism today, right here in the office, and I'm thinking maybe complaining to HR. I'm angry.
You want to fire me up? You want to get me mad?
Then get involved. Yeah, Clark, absolutely. It's this Mark Aram. You ever hear of this character?
Yeah. 6 to 8 here on WSB.
Yeah, and he does. He shows up on the boob tube on the television.
Yeah.
Nobody calls it the boob. He looked at me like, what?
I know, you just aged yourself again.
Sharon, well, this is my age. Hey, I said ageism.
You want to fire me up? You want to get me mad?
So this morning,
why didn't you say idiot, Bob?
we were having a conversation. How can I put this delicately? Talking about the first movies we saw as teenagers, where you saw more than a fully clothed female. Let's put it that way. And he said his, and I said mine, which was a movie called Coach. Me and my buddy David used to sneak in Baton Rouge. We would sneak into theaters. We'd stay there all day long. And we had no idea the opening scene. Is it Kathy Lee Crosby? That's her name?
Oh, is that the one she's wearing the yellow shirt?
Yeah, it's not her. The first scene, it's a bunch of, because the movie is about a female in the 70s. This was an outrageous concept. A female coach of a male high school basketball team. And she's really hot. Yeah, it was like science. The 70s, I think it was considered science fiction.
Look at that. That'll never happen.
So the first scene is a bunch of high school guys at a party, and their girlfriends turn around and they remove their tops. And me and David were like, wow, what? We didn't expect this. So he tells the movie he saw. And I said, well, mine was. And then Mark Aram says, was it a talkie? It must have been in black and white. He didn't stop.
Wow.
Kept on going with the ageism. And I'll tell you what, me and Clark.
You want to fire me up? You want to get me mad?
So, this character, you say you've met him, this character, Mark Aram?
Yeah, I met him one or two times.
So, he can meet me at HR. What's that stand for? Human Resources?
I don't know. We didn't have it. I bet they didn't have that in your day.
See, it doesn't stop. Doesn't stop with this. And meanwhile, it's not like he's 23. He's in his mid-40s, I believe, is he not?
Yes, he is.
Was he 10 years younger than you?
Yeah, I was 10 years old when he was born. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
I'm 45. You're 55. I'm here. You're there.
You want to fire me up? You want to get me mad?
Yeah, you start talking about this Mark Arum. I don't really know who he is, but I'm going to start asking around about him. And did not play any of the impeachment stuff I promised at 9 a.m.
They had all this sound, too.
Number 6. You got to hear this one. Remember the guy with the bow tie?
Yes.
It plays Donald Trump here.
I don't know Vindman. I never heard of him. I don't know any of these people other than I have seen one or two a couple of times. They're ambassadors. But these are names that are taught like Taylor, like Kent with a nice bow tie, wonderful bow tie. Maybe I'll get one for myself someday. I don't know who Kent is. I don't know who Taylor is.
He's a clerk. Is he a clerk? Clerk Ken, I call him. Superman.
I don't know how it's really kind of apropos to nothing, isn't it? The idea that you don't know people is really, obviously they're in positions to sit in on calls.
I don't know. Look, the people that monitor my phone calls, okay, great, wonderful. I don't know them. And look, he wears the bow tie. Oh, no, the other guy had an ascot. Look good on him. Maybe I'll get one. I don't know.
Republicans are absolutely killing it.
Hell yeah!
Absolutely.
Wait, do that one more time.
Republicans are absolutely killing it.
Yeah!
Although I don't know about the guy today. The bald guy.
The bald guy might be turning on you, huh?
He's the turncoat.
I told you, President Trump.
What?
Hold on, this is really energetic music. I told you, I think. See, you don't trust these millionaires. I like the fact that they're doing stories like the only reason Sandlin got the ambassadorship is because he gave millions of dollars to it. That's how almost all these ambassadors.
Shocking, isn't it?
It's absolutely. I mean, look into Pamela Harriman or whatever. Look at that. That's how you get an ambassadorship. Nobody cares. Half the people don't want to go, so you get this. It's kind of cushy. Now, be ambassador of Ukraine, not so cushy. But whatever. Oh, he's the ambassador of Ireland. Oh, wow. What kind of job is that?
Oh, he's just going to drink?
He's just going to drink.
These people are sick.
They are sick. Hey, you want to be the ambassador to Ukraine? The radioactive wasteland.
So, some of the coverage, I don't know, is saying that the Sandlin guy is kind of turning on Trump. Now, that's the first narrative. I'll have to look at it and see in context if it actually is. But if it is, I'll tell you this, Trump, you may be a billionaire, but never trust a millionaire.
No,
God. All right, because they'll turn on you. Especially the only millionaires that are loyal are the ones who are close to death because they truly have nothing to lose. A guy like this who's a multimillionaire and he likes you and he gives you money and then you give him an ambassadorship, after you're gone, whether it's next year or the year January of 2025, this guy still wants to be invited to all the other millionaire cocktail parties. So it's like the lawyer that went to jail, the guy who was his bag man,
Michael Cohen.
Yeah, it's like, what do you think that was all about? That guy's in his 50s or something. So he goes to jail for 3 years. He's got to live in Manhattan in that cocktail party circuit for the rest of his life, and he'll come out and be accepted again. Like
pat on the back,
you turned on him. There's a lot of this is going on. Either way, I don't,
Hey, I'm not worried.
I know you're not.
The Republicans are killing it.
That's what I hear. What did you say again? Did you say that the Republicans are, what did you say?
Republicans are absolutely killing it.
You see what it doesn't work for? It doesn't work for this.
Go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight.
Doesn't work.
No, you hang on, Sloopy.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, yes.
And if you want any more...
I'm sorry, what's that, Jared?
If you want any more...
Go to hell. Go to hell.
President Trump. I'm just trying to tell people where they can listen to this.
Yeah.
Why would they want to? Don't tell them.
If you want entertaining content, stay over here on 95.5.
Yeah, Rush Limbaugh's coming back for noon. You want to listen to...
You want to listen to Rush?
Go to a bar if you want to watch this crap. They're showing it at every bar.
We get a couple minutes of Sean after that.
Well, oh my gosh, big bombs were dropped today. Let me tell you what happened. They had that Sandlin guy on. He's nothing but lies anyway. And then, we got to take a break. Oh, the show's over? Oh, all right, I'll talk to you tomorrow on the Sean Hannity program.
AM 750 is the place for all the impeachment hearings.
What can I hear me, Sean Hannity?
Gavel-to-gavel coverage over there.
You want to fire me up? You want to get me mad?
Today's show has been so good. I don't know that we can top it tomorrow. We're going to try. But it's so good. And on a good show, you've upset a lot of people. So before we go, I want to make sure everyone understands this.
The views and opinions expressed on the Von Haessler Doctrine do not reflect the official policy or position of WSB.
Oh, Eric Swalwell. This guy just doesn't know how to act.
That sounded like a coffee cup to me. What was? Did someone just move a coffee cup against the table?
Baden-Baden, fartologist forensics.
Yeah, that's right.
Tomorrow, I want to slow this down.
Yes, sir.
And I want to compare. Well, they're saying, MSNBC saying it was a coffee cup that was being moved across the table.
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from Republicans...
I want to slow that down, this noise, and analyze that next to a coffee cup. We'll do the demonstration
We'll do it on the video?
Yeah, fartologist. Baden-Baden. Or Baden-Baden. I don't know. He's one of them.
6 of 1.
Right. That, 9. 6 and 1 equals 9.
6 of 1.
9!
That music says that we are done on the radio side for today. But because I'm crazy and don't get one dime extra for it, but I go on and do 30 more minutes. We call the podcast 30. You can join us. Go to the WSB Radio Facebook page or the Von Haessler Doctrine Facebook page. There's a red box. You click it. You can watch us do the podcast 30. We're going to try. We're going to come back tomorrow. We're actually going to try to do one even better than today. It's going to be very difficult. Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. All right. Hit the crappy music. Podcast 30 begins right now. Get your poppers ready.
I don't feel a thing.
What's the other
When's
thing?
the Uber gonna get here?
What's the other thing the kids do? The canisters. The
You mean huffing?
Yeah, no, but I mean it's the
Nitrous?
Nitrous, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Tim Andrews there. He's
Doing the wah-wahs.
Duly dilated.
That's right. My pupils are wide and I'm fully relaxed. You're all invited.
J-Rad on the crappy tunes.
That's Shiba-san, right?
Yeah,
there.
we all knew that.
In the applying lip balm, because that's what he does before a great performance. Greg Russ.
You don't understand.
Studio B1. Hold on. And Autumn Fisher.
Choking myself out.
Choking herself out.
I like it.
So
If you just ignore the music, it'll go away.
I know, but I don't. I choose not to. I choose to go head on. I face it straight up. This is my thing. I'm not afraid to face the audio elements of my own show. I know many people. I'm no coward. Look at that.
Why wouldn't
English
you just say
Nick.
face the music?
Why wouldn't you get your own show so you can say whatever you want to say?
Why wouldn't you
Getting
just
that idea
say?
across.
You know why she
you're
would?
Right.
Because she's not talented enough. Nobody's talented enough, Eric. Only
That's right.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. It took a long time for people to come to their senses. English Nick?
Yes.
All right, now we started a conversation before we did something. We got to finish this. So
Right.
Greg was saying to me as a way of greeting today, he said, I was thinking about your death yesterday. So
Wow.
let's pick it up there, because I think about my death as well, although I'm very much more relaxed about it now than I was when I was like your age. But go
Okay,
ahead.
so let's start with this. If it all goes according to plan, what do you think you'll live to? 85?
I don't see myself.
87?
I don't see myself as a big 80s guy.
74.
Let's just say you get to 85.
I would say maybe 80. My mom died at 83. Let's put it there.
So at that point, I'll already be in my late 60s, mid to late 60s.
Yeah.
So
First
this
of all,
is
yeah. Can we all stop and contemplate and laugh at that? What a miserable bag.
Hang on.
a
No,
bag of bones that'll
maybe
be.
by then he'll be really, really happy and have worked things out. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't sound like me. That's my sleep-out machine. Doesn't sound like. Doesn't sound like me.
You'll have a nice cane.
Man, that reaction. Hey, Tim, you need to pay attention to the reactions in the room, and the only person laughing at it was Jared. So, time to retire that one. Time to put that one away. Maybe, retire that, retire yourself.
Oh, no.
And
That makes me want to do it more.
Hold on. Perhaps you should take your own advice there, like with the music. If you never responded, it would retire itself.
hey, I'm willing to face the impressions that don't sound like me. That don't sound like me.
Yeah, he's no coward.
Oh, is that Tad? Tad, are you there, Tad?
All right,
oh, you're
hold
starting to mix them up. Oh,
on.
my God. It sounds
Hold on.
Tad. That didn't sound like
Oh,
me.
I
That was
think
Ted.
Greg left that open mic.
Yeah,
He ain't funny.
Tad Russ.
Get a new show on here.
Let's stick to one thing.
Greg Lemire.
Yes.
Tad loves it.
So I'm dead. I'm 83, but dead. You're 60 something.
I'd be 65 if you were 83.
Okay.
Oh,
and
man.
now the question is, you were saying that you didn't know if you would be too nervous to speak at my funeral.
Well, before that, because I remember you turning 40, and that's only a few years away from me.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're actually dead, I'll remember you turning 40, and it's all starting to come together like this, because I'm now an age that I remember you freaking out about, and
I did.
then you'll be dead, and I'll realize, well, that's not too far off from me. And then, I don't know if I'll speak. What will I say? What will I go up there?
I've got an idea. Well, this is what I would like you to do.
I don't
If-
like
hold
giving
on.
these
Hold on.
people feel it need to be funny. I would just
Yeah.
want to cry. I would cry. And
Well, listen, I think that the best opening line would be,
I don't want to be here.
I shouldn't be here.
You've taken the last 40 years from
See?
me, Eric.
It's always the jokes
no,
with the
I
death.
know, but
This
I
is
like
why I
the
wouldn't
joke.
do it.
I
because
like the joke, but here, this is the joke. I think you just open up and go, I'm going to be honest with you. I never liked this guy.
I thought
And
I
just,
did.
and just run down all the bad quality. A lot of people here,
Oh,
but you
yeah.
know, it's a balance to
People
life.
are going to talk a lot about what they loved about Eric.
Let me
I'm
tell
not
you.
going to do that today.
Yeah, let me, because if you happen to go first, get hit by a bus or something, when I speak at your funeral, I'm going to say, look, we all loved what we loved, but let's be honest here. If you were stuck in a car with Greg Russ for more than 25 minutes, you wanted to just open the door and roll out onto the highway.
that happened once, one time
Stuck with me.
in our experience
me.
together.
That's
you wanted to
true.
roll out of the car.
Where were you guys driving to?
For
meet
him,
you, Nick.
To meet you, to watch soccer. What was this, 2012 World
This
Cup?
was 14.
On the Roswell
2014.
Road, in that bar up on Roswell Road, yeah.
Yeah, 2014
Yeah.
World
What
Cup.
happened during the car ride?
It was just he was driving because he drives when I'm in my car. He drives. I don't know.
He's
It's
the
like,
dad.
Like
You're not
I'm Miss
driving.
Daisy, but I'm in the front seat. So
And I
he
stopped
was-
short quite often.
Yeah, he
Driving
was,
Von Haessler.
He was driving. He was driving. He's one of the only people. I got to say this. This is my trust factor at Greg. I don't let anybody drive. I
No.
don't trust people, but I let Greg drive. So he's driving, and I don't know. He just gets off on one of his things and probably starts with noises, then becomes concepts and ideas, and he doesn't stop. And I don't know what it was. And then there was a point where he knew he was annoying me, and he doubled
I like that
down.
everyone knows my noises.
Yeah, he
this is how much
doubled
they've
down.
permeated.
Did you not double down? You doubled down on it. Like he knew he was annoying me, and then he decided, well, I'm just going for broke.
Well, I
And
feel like you probably said something that made me double down. Instead of expressing yourself in a pleasing manner, hey, Greg, it's really annoying me.
Yeah.
You probably questioned my character and attacked my existence.
Why do you have to do things?
So then I went for it.
How dare you?
Yep.
So whatever, I just remember that being a very unpleasant experience.
Yeah.
And I think to myself in times like that, things start to make sense to me. Like ex-girlfriends taking a baseball bat and shattering the back window of his car. I didn't understand that when it happened, but at
Yeah.
that moment in the
Who would
car,
do
it's like,
something like that?
I kind of get it
You
now.
can see how they were pushed
Let
to the
me-
edge and then over the
Yeah,
edge.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Eric, you
Yeah.
got off easy because part of my brain wanted to just yank that wheel to the left as hard as I could and flip the car.
Yeah.
Go into oncoming
Just to
traffic.
see.
Yeah,
And just end it all for both of us.
Yeah, well, together, like Thelma and Louise. We'll just go off that cliff
Let's
together.
just keep going. Let's just keep going.
I've never seen Thelma and Louise. I just
Good
know about
movie.
it.
Really?
Yeah,
I
it's
just
really
know-
good.
I know the end.
Good flick.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
You know, Eric, I've thought about your death also,
Oh, Autumn.
but in relation to my own.
Yeah. Are we going
And-
to? Are you scheduling it together?
Well, that's
Look, that pact.
We'll find out if
when
it
we
works.
when we signed that pact, I was very young and high.
You know, it's still a signature.
It was still done in a blood shake or whatever that thing was called.
Yeah.
Blood shake?
What do you
blood
call it?
shake.
What do they call it when
Oh,
people?
that's
it
a
used to
brothers.
be-
A blood oath?
Well, it used to be like Blood Brothers, but
There's a fast food restaurant.
Yeah,
It's the best
great
blood
blood
shake,
shake.
you'll ever have.
yeah.
Oh,
Predominantly
man.
cranberries and a little bit of
Delicious.
strawberry, but it's good, yeah.
Delicious.
So,
Red
Autumn,
velvet.
when you envision Eric, is he lying in some sort of state? Is he cremated?
I'm creamy.
No, it was
It's not
more,
it's not in a church.
Oh.
I told somebody that we were talking about death, and I said, my buddy Steve Hausman, I saw over one of the mentors of myself in radio. He's retired, and I saw him over the weekend, and He asked me a really because he's originally from Boston, right? But he's been working in Rochester for some 30-odd years, and he just retired. But he had a big career before that in Boston, and we were talking about the dual. Like, I didn't move here until 1998, and he asked me a question I hadn't considered. Now, just thinking of burial, which I don't know that I would be involved in something like that, but where would you be buried? Like, would I be buried in Atlanta, or would I be buried in?
Where's your mom?
Amongst my people.
She in Rochester?
My mom is lying in Rochester. Now, she was cremated, but we did give her a place to go visit. A cemetery.
Yeah.
So we buried the urn.
I did that
type of thing. So, but I had never thought of that before. Like, where does and in my response, and I felt like I don't think
my ashes.
I didn't think this is. I said maybe a little here, a little there, but my real response, which kind of I think freaked him out or grossed him out, judging by the look on his face, was, I don't know. After I'm dead, put my body in a wood chipper. What do I care? I guess that's really not a very great.
It's good mulch.
That's not a surprise to us because you've been saying for the last 3 or 4 years, I don't care what happens.
If you're here for the first time, it's really kind of a gory scene out of Fargo.
Yeah.
I actually like
the
this
legs
though.
Sticking out.
It can take your body mulch and grow a garden in it, and then that would be grown out of you.
Some people were turned into trees these days.
After the maggots are done.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the
maggots are part of the circle of life.
Yeah.
Don't you know the Elton John song?
Yes,
Circle
I do.
of Life?
I know that song well.
I would like to be put at the foot of a brand new tree. Whether it would grow for long, I don't know. But hey, it'd have a good time.
Dogs are peeing
that
on
tree
you
would
all
have a
the
great.
time.
A lot of dogs.
Yeah, but you're dead. You don't
a
know
lot of
that.
dogs would come to my tree.
Well, they shouldn't pee on you because you've been good to animals.
Well,
your
they're
whole
on
life.
peeing on my tree. It's okay.
I want to do that like green burial, where they just really just put me in the ground.
Like yourself, just your body, like you're a cowboy out on the plains.
No embalming, nothing.
Nothing.
Oh.
You need to go to one of those forensic gardens where they let you rot in different. I mean, different bodies are rotting in different ways, so investigators can look and figure it out.
I don't know if I want to be stuffed into a barrel.
Yeah.
Well, what do you care?
What do you care?
Yeah.
No, but here's the thing: is if you just get a natural thing, there's a good chance that some animal kind of digs you up and just.
No, that's not true. They have natural burial cemeteries.
Sites.
Wow. So they have a big fence to keep the animals out.
Yeah, there's a sniper on the roof.
Yeah.
Keeps the worms away, snipes the worms.
I don't know why people even care about what happens after they're dead. I don't.
Well, I mean, I want the green burial, and I know it's called green, which is weird and sort of
AOC
politically charged,
fan,
but but I don't mean it like that.
The new green burial.
But what we're doing to our bodies, to these bodies after they're dead, even cremation, it takes a lot of heat. It takes a lot of energy to make something hot enough to. I mean, but
Jay,
why?
hold on. I don't call you.
You almost called me Jay.
I did. It was actually Jay Black I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Jay.
I want to have a green burial.
Go ahead and throw me in a lake.
I sold the lake at
Sanford Stadium.
So hold on. You don't want to do this because of the energy. What? You're coming to Atlanta. Are you walking?
No.
Okay, you're getting on a plane. Yeah, I'm guessing that's going to toss out a whole bunch
But that's
more carbon.
to get me somewhere. That's a reason.
What do you
why.
think death is? You're going somewhere.
Yeah, you are.
Where am I going?
You're going to heaven.
Next life,
It's
mate.
for a shell of your body. It's for the spacesuit. Why do I need to? Why do we need to expend so much energy? And then if I'm embalmed and all of the preparation that goes, why do we have to spend so much money? Hold on, let me say it. Why do we have to spend so much time, energy, money on something like that for the spacesuit, the meat spacesuit that we're in? It makes no sense. Just put me in the ground and let me go back into the earth.
Now,
well, they better get you in the ground quickly if it's all that green because you're going to stink after a while.
Yeah, you're going to stink to high heaven.
If they don't embalm you, you're going to be missing.
I mean, first she doesn't
stink. I'm not.
Juice is coming out of every orifice.
Yeah,
I've seen sheep die. I know what happens.
She doesn't even wash her hands after she goes number 2. It's going to be double on top of that when the body starts disintegrating.
I want to be one of those people that dies in his apartment and nobody finds for months.
Until you pop.
Well, there's a good chance of that, Greg, the way you live your life.
Yeah, and then when there's no one to claim me, they just send my body to Hart Island in the Long Island Sound.
Pottersfield?
Yeah, they bury me in a mass grave.
Don't they call it that?
Would you donate your body to science and let people examine
Science doesn't
cadavers
want to know.
and stuff?
Science,
Cadavers.
there's some things scientists don't want to know.
Like
I'm convinced these days that I have a brain tumor and nothing of my reality is real. It's all just thrown off. Like really, you guys have disowned me. You don't talk to me anymore. And this is just some fantasy happening right now. Well, you don't talk to anyone, Tim.
When did you not get the memo?
I talk to you a lot.
Wait a minute.
What do you mean
I've made you the center of the Christmas special.
Yes.
You don't think?
Yeah,
that's
this
a
is
real...
why I think I have a tumor, because why in the
Right.
hell would you do such a thing?
Yeah,
this
you're
isn't
coming back
real.
around.
You want to know what? You want to know why?
Something's happening.
I ran out of ideas, and it hit me. The first idea was that the elves have gone on strike, but then I looked that up and there's like 4 different comedy groups that
We're
have
not
done that.
working till we have equal pay.
Yeah, so that had been done before, and
Don't
so
forget
I
the
said,
she-elves.
as long as something's been done before, then we'll
The
just
shelves.
we'll do the Grinch story.
Triggered by it.
The shelves.
The shelves.
Shelves.
She shelves.
She sells. She shelves.
She sells.
On the
She sells.
she side.
Are they still doing that creepy thing where the elf looks creepy,
on the shelf?
monitors your kids from the shelf?
Oy.
Oh.
Scary.
I avoided that for as long as I could, but then my kids heard about it.
Oh, what, on the
I was like,
internet?
"Ugh."
When you
No,
weren't
from
watching?
their friends.
Tell them that it's evil, and then they won't want it. Say that thing looks at you and it
What's
attacks
evil?
you if you're
People
bad.
get scared. There are kids who are afraid of it.
Yeah,
I'd
the
be
stalker
afraid
in
of it.
your-
It's dumb.
I woke up one time in Asheville,
Dockers.
Ohio, when I was 5 years old, and there was
In a different dimension?
There was almost. There was
Hey, I'm
a
an elf and I'm on your
there was a bat on the shelf. Scared the
And then
hell out
roll
of
up
me.
the tongue.
The bat on the
Bat.
shelf.
Bat on the shelf.
It's true. No, that's funny memory for
baseball
Eric Von Haessler. One of my early memories. 5 years old. My oldest brother, Michael, right before he becomes a Hell's Angel or whatever, he was a real biker. He was a real biker. He's my oldest brother. So at the time, he's probably 15 or 16, and I'm 5 years old. So there was a closed down building that used to be an asylum somewhere near this place, and my older brothers and their friends got the bright idea to stay there on Halloween night because they would do this crazy stuff all the time. It was always with the seances, and because they were nuts, and it was 1969, and they were out of control a little bit. So I ended up, for some reason, sleeping in the same room as my oldest brother. The night after he was at this asylum thing, and I don't know what drugs were coursing through his veins. So all night long, he's having nightmares, talking in his sleep. I'm just awake. Over on my bed, just like too afraid to get out of my bed.
You're how old again? 5?
5. And he's like, whatever's going on. And then when I wake up, there's a bat on the.
Man,
because we had trouble with bats in that house. Bats would fly around. Oh,
one of the scariest nights of Eric's life ever.
Where are your parents?
They were in another room. They were in another room. For some reason, I was in that room, which was not my normal room. I got a better story from that one. I almost died in that house. Here's a better story for you.
It's better?
Same older brother. So he's just getting to a point in life where he's drinking and carousing and whatever. So apparently, he comes home one night, and he's drunk, and he decides to make, fry up potatoes or something, you know? And he falls asleep while they're on the stove. This is my memory. I'm up on the second floor.
How old are you?
I'm same age, same house, 5 years old.
He was 15, 16?
A lot of memories. 15, 16, he was drunk. He fell asleep.
Super drunk. Yeah, great.
Fell asleep.
Great
So this is my memory is my older sister, who's 5 years older than me, is waking me up. And I look at her, and there's no air in the room.
Smoke.
There's nothing. There's no air in my body. Like, she's waking me up.
Oh, my God.
And we run outside, and the whole house was
ablaze.
Was not a blaze. It was just smoke. It was just smoke, but it was the whole house. And so right there, if somebody doesn't wake up, there's no. Can you imagine as great as today's show was? It would never have happened if my sister. I should say this show is brought to you by my sister Sue, who woke me up that night and got me out of that house.
Where was Mom and or Dad at that point?
I was 5. I don't know. It may have been that they were working. For all I know. To me, it was 2 in the morning.
10-year-old watching you.
Oh,
Perfect.
it wasn't.
Did she have to wake him
Drunk
up too?
15-year-old brother.
Yeah. What do you want me to do? Get a time machine and go back and yell at my parents?
I'm just saying, you are a survivor. You are surviving, and that's why emotions don't make sense to you.
Whoa.
When somebody has emotions,
Crikey.
you're like, "What's the why are you spending your time thinking about these stupid emotions when I'm just trying to survive?"
That's how you should live life.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit down and tear down my emotions. I was thinking about
No,
this the
it
other
doesn't
day.
have to be tearing down or villainizing anything. It could just be a help to explain why things occur or why
But
you
I'm
think certain
digging
ways.
my life. Why would I go in there and try to
Great,
find
you can
something
still
bad?
dig your life.
You got to let it go.
Yeah.
That's working great for everybody. Okay.
Well, for me, what do you think? What am I holding with me? I'm doing. I survived a radio
Somebody didn't look
partnership.
at me in the hall. They hate me.
Yeah,
If you had actually died back then, how many of us here right now would know each other? So I can say maybe Tim and Nick, because they both went to 96 Rock on their own.
Yeah, maybe.
But the regular guys wouldn't have happened. Probably I wouldn't have been an intern, so I wouldn't have been connected. Neither would have Autumn.
No, you were a fan of Southside Steve, so you would have listened to 96 Rock, and you would have been an intern at 96 Rock.
Maybe.
Hang on, maybe your ex-partner would have showed up with somebody else in 1998.
Who?
Maybe your ex-partner, radio partner, would have showed up with somebody
Possibly.
else.
Yeah, that is.
But I maybe.
Larry
But
and
I don't think it would have played out exactly
Fred
the
and
same.
Larry.
Fred's always your fill-in because, like, I don't like Ringo.
Fred.
Like Paul, George, Ringo.
I like Fred and Bob.
Bob.
Those are my names.
I like Jake.
We've never had a president named Bob. It's about time.
like
That's what
Jimmy.
Bob Dole used to say.
Bob Dole.
We've never had a president named Bob.
No,
It's
not
about
even
time.
Robert Taft.
Was it? Oh no, it's not.
Oh,
William.
Howard Taft.
Howard.
William
Robert
Howard
was
Taft,
Robert
yeah.
was his brother.
That's right.
Yeah. See, you
Of
thought
course,
you got
everybody
me.
knows that's his brother.
Yeah, Robert. I believe he was also a governor of Ohio.
Bobby Taft.
Oh, little Bobby Taft. Never made it to the White House.
Could have had a Bobby Kennedy, but they shot him.
That's right. I don't think Bobby Kennedy would have made it to the White House.
You don't think he would have beaten Nixon?
No, I don't, because it's the same press that's telling us that all this stuff is so. Like when I was a kid, I thought everybody loved the war protesters because I thought they were
Same
cool.
here, yeah.
But now we see how protesters, like half the country can't stand them.
job, losers.
Cut your hair, hippie.
All right. So, so when I die and when I'm gone, there'll be one child left.
To carry on. Thank you. No, I was writing a list of songs that I want to be played at my funeral memorial.
Can
or
I say something on them?
Can I finish this
Yes, you
thing?
can,
I
but
tried it earlier and
All
I
right.
couldn't finish
you
it
can
either.
do the list, but I want to say something to you. I think you don't understand something. The funeral is not for the dead person; it's for the people who are still living. But go ahead.
Yeah, I know.
No, but you should
So
take care of their last wishes.
It should be the songs that they associate with you.
Yeah.
Thick as a brick, both sides.
Thick as a brick.
What is that?
It's a Jethro Tull album where it's just one song on both sides. And
I think-
and your wise men don't know
No, it's
how
not.
it feels to be thick as a brick. Two sides to that.
No, but my point is,
I wanna
my
hear
point
your
is,
list.
no, I don't need to make the list. What I'm saying is, I was making the list or thinking of the list, and a lot of times when I would write down the song I was thinking of, I was thinking, oh, Eric will appreciate this,
Oh.
and then I realized Eric ain't gonna be at my funeral.
Well, you never know.
People
Like you
get
said.
hit by a bus.
That's true, but I'm saying
Fall off,
I
you
was
could be taking
really
a
thinking about
selfie at the
impressing
Grand
you or something.
Selfie at the Grand Canyon.
I mean, you know,
Dubai.
Yeah, you're like fingers crossed.
I could be one of those. Well, he's probably looking down on us now. I hate that concept.
Yeah.
Oldham,
Yeah,
your daughter may come home at 16 and set
cloud?
fires to the house, and Pete may not wake everybody up.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and Eric will be like, no problem.
It's not no
Yeah.
problem. It's just once you survive, you don't.
Did
you
your
don't-
your 10-year-old sister have to wake up the older brother too?
I can't. I was 5, so all I remember is she woke me and my little brother up. So he was 3 at the time, and we ran out the back of the house.
Free.
She had to choose the one she wanted to save.
Susie's choice.
Susie's choice.
Susie's choice.
That's the
I
name of the
won.
next Christmas special. Susie's choice. Oldham's choice.
Don't you think so? Sometimes, since we're talking about death in such a jovial way,
Yeah.
if you look back at your childhood. There are a lot of times that I could have gone.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was one time I was stuck in a tree for hours. I didn't think I was ever going to get out of that tree.
I feel
And
like
for some reason, somehow I got my foot, and then all of a sudden I got out. But I mean, I thought I'm just going to die of starvation up here.
Skeleton.
Nobody's going to know.
No, so much time passes.
One time I was
Birds
getting,
are
I was getting off a city bus when I was
What a
about-
realistic Halloween decoration.
Yeah, wow.
When I was, these people are really into Halloween. When I was about 19, I was getting off a city bus. Now this isn't death, but this is still, sliding, doors or whatever. I was getting off the bus, and it was raining outside, and the guy in front of me, you know how when you get off a bus, I mean, we're just like, back to front, waiting to get, and the guy in front of me decides to open his umbrella And he didn't open it, but he pulled it out. And the tip of the umbrella has got that thing.
Yeah, metal thing.
And so the way that he pulled it out, he lost control of it, and it hit me in the face, and the thing was right under my eye. I mean, right. Just not even a nano, just right under my eye. I think about stuff like that. It's like I could very easily have just lost my eyeball that day. It was less than an inch.
I feel like you've had more near death than anybody else in this room.
Well, you almost got hit by the bus that one time. Speaking of buses, right outside on Peachtree. Yes.
You were there.
You were there.
That
was insane.
Yeah, right in front of.
Well, I don't know this story.
This is on Peachtree. This is back in the 96 Rock days, Clear Channel days. And we would go across the street. Did we go to Thomas? What's that called?
I went to that New Orleans
R.
place.
Thomas?
We also went to the...
most people will know where R. Thomas
Huey's,
is. It's right
R.
there.
Thomas.
The place
now
that
it's
did
called Bell's.
Beignets.
Is that what the
Bell Street Burrito.
Yeah, that's so we're standing there, and the sidewalk and the road, there's no separation there. You're right on each other. And I was talking to Greg or Lucky Yates or somebody, and not a bus, a big truck.
No, it was a bus.
Was it a bus? I thought it was
a city
delivery
bus.
truck. Okay, so
but the mirror is the thing.
The mirror
it's a truck
was,
or bus.
The mirror was way out from the bus, and I turned around not because I saw the bus. I just happened to move my head as part of the conversation.
Oh.
And as I moved my head, everybody noticed, and I felt the wind of that mirror getting within a quarter of an inch of my head.
Wow.
Just and it was going like 50 miles an hour.
This is something that I can remember clearly. That's how close it actually was. These kind of events stick in your brain. It's like, oh, wow, that could have been the end of Eric.
For me, every day is a blessing.
Maybe that person wasn't a fan of it. Maybe that bus driver was not a fan of the old show and knew it was you.
I like that Guster song. There's a Guster song where the guy... He keeps barely living, like he's in a car accident. You know that song? It's not on the album that you like, but there's a song where it starts out with his mother died during birth, but he lived. Then a few years later, he's in a car crash with 8 other people. 7 died, 1 survived. It's him. Then he got to his plane late. Later, a few years later in his life, the plane crashes. And at the end of the song, it's like, no one will hang out with me anymore.
Because they all died.
That's fun.
That's me.
I almost drowned. Maybe I wouldn't have ever.
Yeah, you almost drowned.
Yes.
You and I had real. We haven't even gotten to my real near-death thing, which was after my operation when my throat closed up, and I had to have an emergency tracheotomy when I was 9 years old, and I had the death dream. And Autumn had that same thing when she was dying of algae strangulation.
You know, it wasn't your time, Eric, ever. That's the thing. It's never been your time.
I'm beginning to believe I'm going to live forever.
Didn't you get kidnapped by Jamaicans?
Yeah, me?
Yes,
I did once, very briefly.
Yeah, man.
Very briefly.
Yeah.
I was there. I remember that.
They got really stoned, and I was able to
get
myself out of there. Sorry, Rush. I wish Rush didn't invent that, because I would love to be the guy that did it.
No one before or after has ever rattled paper.
It feels good.
Well, in your defense, yesterday, especially with all the
formerly nicotine-stinging fingers.
With all the promotions that we had yesterday, I mean, you had several sheets of paper, so you had an excuse to be fumbling between papers.
I had several squares.
Now, don't encourage him, Jared.
Rush, he has a legitimate excuse this time.
I got to tell you, I love Rush, but he's been reaching on this impeachment thing. Hey. It's all a setup. All right.
It's a scam.
Well, I mean, I think both sides are full of it. I don't think it's impeachable. I think you just go into the election, you make TV commercials about it, and say, "Hey, you want this guy to?" But I don't want to get
that ambassador to the EU. He was like this morning when he was reading his thing. He would say the abbreviated word that everybody knows in government, and then he would explain the word.
I want to say that this Greg Russ,
sleep time.
People got to be. I'm getting excited about this Christmas show. It's coming together, and this Greg Russ, he submitted his song yesterday. It's very funny.
It is funny.
Very funny. But
I got to record the official version tonight.
No, I know. Tonight, you're going to record it? You're going to come in with it completely recorded?
Unless you want to do it there. Maybe it's better to record it in one of the studios there.
Well, give it a shot. If you can get that done, the more we can have done before we get to Thursday, the better off we are.
Which is tomorrow?
Yeah. But, I mean, the Thursday's before Friday, so we get a day before the crowd. So we're fine.
I'm going to take Marta straight to that Midtown. Wait, is Art Center closer?
Art Center's
Art Center.
Yes.
Oh, and then are you going to get off with 5 suitcases and
get on a scooter?
So you know what? Our company.
Everybody's talking at me as he walks.
Walking in.
Our company offers discounts on MARTA because of how close we are to that Art Center MARTA station.
Whoa. What do you say? A quarter?
So what is it?
It's a discount. It costs 50 cents.
Thanks.
No, it costs $2.
It costs $2.
Yeah.
So hey, you need a loan?
Oh, wow.
I would say if anybody
The 1%, guys.
if somebody submits paperwork to get that 27-cent discount,
I'm doing it. I'm going to do it.
Not everybody around here makes the kind of money that some of us make.
Exactly.
So,
Thank you, English
Some
Nick.
of us can't afford $2.
And if that's your commute, if
I
you use
laugh at
MARTA,
those people.
if you use MARTA every day,
That's
it
a
adds
third of a
up.
pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see
That's
that?
true, but-
Talking of Christmas, a great gift for the kids now. Bird scooters have introduced the Birdie today.
Well, what is that?
This is a scooter for
Is
the
that
little
where
ones.
Nicolas Cage pushes you off the side of
That's
the
it.
building?
Yes. It's the little bird for kids. So you don't rent it, you buy it for $129.
Why do I want kids? Man, one year my wife.
Come on, kids, come
my
get
wife bought
injured with the parents.
My youngest, when he was, I think, 12 or something, 11, 12, she bought him a mini bike for
Wiped
Christmas. No, this thing went like 50 miles per hour. The first day, I got rid of it. I found a way. It's broken. You know what? Yeah, it's broken.
You took out the spark plugs
And
instead of
then there's no humor here, but that does end in a weird story. I wanted to get rid of it. It was broken. It legitimately was broken because I didn't want him riding around people backing up. 11-year-old riding around in a neighborhood isn't looking.
Yeah, you need to find a large field somewhere.
No, you're still kind of floating around. You're imagining things.
I just think this guy's zipping around 50 miles per hour. It's crazy. I just thought it was the most insane thing. And so it did break, and I just didn't get it fixed for the longest time. And then somebody who did some work at the house, who was a really nice guy, and he said, well, I do stuff like this. He was a motorcycle guy or whatever. And I said, well, take it and fix it. What I was hoping was I'd never see the damn thing again. But the weirdest thing happened. That guy died.
On the scooter?
No, not on a scooter. No, I don't want any humor. I mean, it's a real thing. That guy died, and I can't remember exactly if it was an accident or if it was like he was a young guy. And so we never saw it again. It was like out of our life. But what I was hoping was that he would, because he had a younger son. And so if he had told me that I was going to, that he had gotten it done, I was just going to say, you know what, give it to your son. I didn't want it back in my house.
But you never saw him again?
I never saw him again, no, because if something happened, he died.
Well, be careful what you wish for. You wanted the bike out of your life, and maybe that was the path that manifested.
Don't you blame me, sir.
You need to carry that guilt around with you.
Order!
This has been a very death-centric...
Order!
No, he was a great guy. I hadn't thought about that in the longest time.
Well,
I got lots of stories.
It would
Lots
appear
of
so.
death stories.
I think there's a whole book of death stories waiting to be told there, my friend.
Mm-hmm. I went by
Your book should be called I'm Fine.
I'm lucky to be here by Eric von Haessler.
I don't know. I'm enjoying things.
Surviving as Eric von Haessler.
I put together the opening of the Christmas thing. Fred Blankenship's work, unbelievable. I'm happy.
That thing sounds great.
After it was over, I put a gummy in my mouth and drew a bath. I think, boy, my life's all right. Huh?
Haribo gummies?
Yeah, the good ones.
Let me tell you,
Harry
the version of this miss that me and Randy have put together, predominantly him musically.
Yeah.
It sounds like TSO did the damn thing.
Yeah, good.
It is good.
That's what English Nick is going to sing my song from last year. This is My Kind of Christmas with a Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Now, how do we get your buddy's name in there as well? What do we call you guys?
Well, here's the thing. We got to work on that, but he's going to come by on Friday for the show.
Cool.
So he'll be there.
So I'll be able to see it.
Siberian Trans Orchestra.
No, I don't want any.
He's good friends with one of the singers in TSO.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And for those that didn't get into it, you will be able to watch it on Facebook Live.
There are so many levels to this thing, all right? For the crowd that's coming now, we've told promotions we need eggnog and cookies because we need to have a party because this is not there should be no expectation that you are going to see a rhythmic fluid show. It's not going to happen. We're going to be showing you the boxcars that we're putting together for the show. That's one level of it. And that Facebook, that night, that will be on Facebook, and you can watch us do that with that sort of thing. Then there will be, on Thanksgiving, we'll drop the radio version of the show, which is 2 hours on that day because it's an hour, 3 hour slot. There will be 1 hour of Ghost of Christmas Specials past.
Which that is bomb.
Yeah.
That is really good.
Now, after that, going into December, hold on. Going into December, this is hard enough to follow anyway. Going into December, this is going to play several times, and it will be a 4 hour show, 2 hours of the original, and then 2 hours of Ghost of Christmas Specials past. Now, about a week before Christmas, a video version of the show is going to land, which will be all the stuff in the show, but lots more. That's not going to be the Facebook video stuff. That's going to be a produced television 1970s Christmas special looking thing. That should drop. I was going to drop it about 3 days before, but I'm thinking, we should do it about a week before. Probably.
Is that going to be video from past years then?
No, that's everything that we're doing this year is videoed, and the audio quality is where I want it to be. The one thing I didn't like last year was the live lounge element, me being too close to the mic, things like that. This is going to run as an audio theater, but it will also be a television show. So if you can keep up with all that, all I can tell you is that Greg is the villain and he sings a song. That should be enough.
That's enough to bring me through.
I'm going to have a mustache.
Yeah.
What kind of mustache you want me to have? You want it to come down?
You
to
know what? Make it look like the magician, as close to the magician in Frosty the Snowman as you can.
All right. Well, I'm bringing the clippers with me, so I'm going to do this at the station tomorrow.
All right.
Be sure to put that in your checked bag.
We could do that. Put that
nope,
on it.
I'm not checking a bag.
You can't bring that on board.
You can bring. I would have
clippers.
Clippers. Yes.
Careful.
What are you gonna
you want me to go get them and put them up my neck now? I will. I'll turn them on and I'll put them on my jugular and I'll live.
I'm just telling you, they might take it away from you. That's one of those things.
You can't even hurt people with clippers.
Okay. All right.
Hey, here's the deal, Craig. I've got clippers you can borrow. If you don't get them.
Give me 3.5 hours. I'll saw this guy's head off.
He's going. Oh, man.
Oh, this guy's a danger. This is a danger.
Greg, don't do it.
I don't make the rules. That's what they say.
Shave part of it now.
You can't bring
straight
toenail
to the middle.
clippers.
Shut up,
shave
everybody.
to the middle side
I'm
there.
sick and tired of a lot of you. Bloody hell.
Shave it.
Bye.